on the morning of, I think, what is it now? I think it's, we're almost on the tail end of Flame Rule. Yeah, I would say like about the 29th of Flame Rule. So we're approaching the next month. Like about the 29th. It's midsummer, I think I described to you before, so that would be the weather you can expect on any given day of this game right now, or like late summer. And it's another fine morning in Phandelver. It sounded like our boy Dario is heading
Barthens.
For the shrine. For Barthens and then to the shrine, is that right?
Yeah.
So let's just assume, go ahead and detract the gold. We'll go ahead and assume that you've acquired your ingredients. You didn't quite have the herbs that you were specifically looking for, but you found some that will, you believe, do the trick. So you acquired a few things, and you made your way to the Shrine of Luck, where you find
Gariel.
Yes, thank you. You find Gariel just sort of tidying up in the morning and preparing for any visitors to the shrine. The shrine's interesting. I think we haven't really gone into detail on it, but it's despite it being a shrine to the goddess of luck, it is also kind of non-denominational. It's sort of like, what is Unitarianism? Is that it? Where they just sort of like have a pretty broad belief spectrum that isn't necessarily.
Where's our religion major?
Yeah, it's not super strictly reinforced by hard scripture or even really hard rules. It's mostly just like a benevolent kind of religion that is open to most. And so as you arrive, there's no expectation of you to behave a certain way. And she greets you and kind of intentionally ignores you, but like kind of lets you be at peace and you're welcome to use the brazier for whatever it is you're doing, provided it isn't, I don't know, necromancy. You weirdo.
It's fine, familiar. I just want a pet bat. That's all. Not undead. So, I'd like to offer to make a small donation to the church in return for use of the lamp, I guess. Brazier? Am I pronouncing that right now?
Yeah, it's Frasier is the name of the show. Sorry.
Just like that porn segment.
Oh yeah.
Frasier porn?
I'm in.
Isn't that the name of that thing? Brazers or something?
Tossed salad and scrambled eggs, indeed.
Oh no.
Alright.
I see that was a Frasier reference?
That was a dope joke. And you all suck.
I was like...
I'm laughing, Ben.
I thought what weird sex thing is he implying?
I didn't use my press to talk, but I was laughing too, Ben.
Yeah, like that classic old chestnut. I didn't push to talk, otherwise I would have told you it was funny. Anyway,
I wasn't talking. It felt weird to just press to laugh.
Please press to laugh. Press F to pay respects.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Press to laugh.
So Nate is currently busy with an arcane task, which is a fun sentence to say. So what about the rest of you morons? What do you do with your morning? Or your day? What's your plan?
So we had a bunch of loot to sell.
Yeah, let's knock it out.
It's listed in the group loot. I don't know if we want to go through it or not.
That's fine. Yeah, we should totally... I should do this between sessions, actually. We should figure out a way for you guys to just mark things for sale, and I'll just put gold in your group loot.
Yeah, so I'll just delete everything that's labeled taken by Alcar.
Yeah, do that. And I encourage everyone right now.
Let me just grab a quick shot of that.
And anyone grab anything you want. Let's write it down.
Okay, I'm done with group loot.
Who called dibs on the giant pile of treasure?
Alright, there's the map at the top. Does anyone know, is that already gone? Or was that divvied out? Or is
We have no idea what it's for at this point.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, me either. Sorry.
So I'm going to assume we have these items to sell, and then we have 235 gold.
Alright, sounds like a plan.
Wait, sorry, did you just do the math on all those?
Well, no, there's this 113 and there's this 122. So I'm hoping that we'll just add that up and turn it into gold.
Sounds fine. Yeah. Sounds
And
like that's
then-
probably what was there.
And then yeah, we've got to figure out what all these things are worth because I don't know what diamonds and emeralds and necklaces are worth.
Yeah. So right off the top, you've got 30 gold coming your way for the scimitars.
We should keep some of the masks and cloaks of the cultists just in case. You never know.
You never know.
I don't want them, and you look weird with one on.
Well, yeah, maybe not for me, but you smooth talkers.
I'll
might
keep
wanna...
a full cultist outfit.
Yeah, I gave mine up to the druid. I'll take one if you guys want yours. So.
Actually, I think I already have a full cultist outfit.
If it comes to any stealth or deception or any of that, you can pretty much just rule me out. That's on you.
If Agmar's offering, I'll take his cloak and mask.
Oh yeah,
Okay, I take his cloak and mask.
it looks weird on me. Don't want it.
All right, so I'll mark those down to 6.
I think I already also have a red brand outfit.
So the red brand outfits. Honestly, the outfits I don't anticipate selling for too much.
Rags.
They're yeah, just convert them to rags for bandages. So let's call the scimitars 30, and the red brand outfits will bring it. I don't know. Pay like half a gold each, so maybe like 34. The dragon masks probably worth something because of the craftsmanship in them. They're not made of anything particularly rare, but they're interesting. So
They look cool, yeah.
So we'll bump it up to 42, and then so yeah. So let's go with 42 gold off of that loot I see right there, except for the diamonds. As you bring him to Barthen's, he's kind of looking over them, and he kind of scratches his head, just kind of looks nervous, and says, he goes, frankly, I don't quite know what these be worth. You want to take them to Halia, frankly. We don't deal in raw gems. She'd be pretty furious if she found out that I took business on that.
Yeah, we also had 2 emeralds in the necklace. I assume he won't take the emeralds, but is the necklace something he's interested in?
Yeah, I think the necklace that was found in the town out east, right, with the ghosts and everything. Is that where that found? I forget.
I don't remember.
No, it was in the ruins. Yeah, it was like the room northeast of the spider room.
Oh yeah. Okay, so
Nate's giving us his old armor since he's a thief.
Yep.
In front of our eyes.
Least I could do.
So Nate, as I'm pulling up this number here, talk to me about your spell you're working on there.
Yeah, so I am trying to summon a pet bat familiar. Apparently I get to choose if it's celestial, fey, or fiend. I guess I choose fiend.
Fey.
I have to go fiend, I think.
So pokes can do things with it.
I can also do things with fiends.
You can track
Dang.
it, right?
So that's a gorgeous necklace. Yeah. So when you produce that necklace, Barthen takes a step back, and and he goes like, I recognize that crest. That belonged to the Stonehearts, isn't that right? I think that's where you found it. I'm just totally making that up. And so he seems particularly moved by it, not just because it's of fine quality, but because it has a relevance to one of the local families that used to have some power or some nobility, some name recognition here. And so he takes it in the back for a minute, and then he comes back out and says, I'll pay you 100 for it.
Yeah, done.
All right. 142 then was the total, I think, off that whole pile.
And the studded leather also.
Oh, yeah. And then you'll keep the emeralds for now.
Yeah, we'll hold on to the emeralds and diamonds.
And he'll give you like 12? No, 15 for the studded armor.
Pleasure doing business.
Bing bong. Done and done. All right. So I'll let you sort out the gold distribution. It's not my job. We'll assume that your wily friend Tramble is off handling the provisions. Pogues, what's Cassian's morning about? Does he have a plan, or is he just waiting for the group to return?
I was just having breakfast.
Understood. Agmar.
Probably with Cassian.
And Alcar.
Alcar had a couple points he wanted to do after the last mission. He wants to touch base with the crows in the manor and tell them of the castle that they've secured.
Yeah.
And then he also wants to get some crow feathers from them and have a silver crow head amulet crafted that's wreathed in the feathers.
I like it.
I'm going to just assume our standing with the crows has to be pretty good,
Yeah,
considering we've given them a manor and a castle.
I haven't updated.
know that owlbear got out and killed most of them.
Well, look,
I
I
haven't
didn't.
updated the reputation chart, but I'll have to come up with a word above friendly because it's going to be where you guys are at, or above allied. I mean, because that's where
To
you're
be
going to get.
fair, yes, it's a bit of a monkey's paw in terms of giving him the castle, but
Yeah. So because we're rolling on a weeknight schedule, I'll kind of zip through this a little bit quicker than maybe normal, chewing the scenery a little more than I would normally. So Frank, as you approach Tresendar Manor, you're excited to see that the crows have already started to make quite a cozy home up here. They've taken to the partial ruins up top and begun sort of constructing like rough replacements to the missing floorboards. It doesn't look super sturdy. In fact, it violates about 1,000 OSHA rules, but it gets them out of the rain, and it kind of turns what was just the shell of that former home into something that people could actually live in. You can see that they are apparently working to sort of excavate some of the bodies out of the underground manor, as well as some of the debris and whatnot, bringing out some of the trash left behind by the Red Brands. But I mean, you met these crows, and many of them seem, especially the younger ones, seem really upbeat. They're sort of running around, sort of exploring the ruins with a lot of excitement. You notice a couple of the older crows are sort of, they don't look upset, but they look nervous.
hey, quick side note.
Yeah.
We did warn them about the Nothic, right?
Yes.
They're not in that place. We didn't tell them.
Well,
Man.
but
Yeah, they
it's
are.
underneath the manor.
Wait,
I think
who did we tell to go to the manor?
the
Some of the
Frank-
crows.
No.
Frank
So-
orchestrated some of them to go to the manor. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
again,
but I thought we
some
stopped them
real.
from going there because that's like the worst thing in the world is to send them to the manor.
Just as long as they don't go underneath, right? I mean, probably.
Well, in fact, Frank, and that's probably a topic of conversation. Is you asked them, I would assume, about their as you see them sort of carrying gear out of the basement, if they've encountered anything.
Oh gosh.
So that I was going to check in on that front, and I'm pretty sure we did tell them about that in the past.
Yeah, you definitely brought that up, and they actually don't know what you're talking about. They can tell that some beast was living down there, but they assumed it was like another owlbear or something, some other local creature that had been sort of reined in. Maybe even a grick like the other place. So when you describe the Nothic to them, it seems like you're describing like Bigfoot to them. Like they all look at each other like a creature that reads minds. Like I've never heard of that. Like so they clearly have not encountered anything to their knowledge that fits that description, and they don't really take your words too much to heed. You know what I mean? It would be like warning campers going on a hike that watch out for Bigfoot. They'd be like, sure, yeah, crazy guy. So they don't. It seems like things seem okay for now. So
I actually, if I'm perceiving that the way you described it, then I want to do minor illusion to show them what it looks like, and then I want to do a persuasion to make them understand that it's a serious deal.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. So you're going to use... what was the first part? Prestidigitation?
Minor illusion.
Minor illusion, okay. So like a sound or something?
No, I can do an image.
Oh, an image. So you're using this as like a way to illustrate better.
Yeah, I want them to know what it looks like, first of all, and then I'm going to persuade them to say, hey, this is serious business, guys.
That's very good, yeah. So you sort of open your palm and close your eyes so that you can, as sharply as you can, recall upon this character and the way that it approached you and its tactics that it used, that you sort of verbally described to them. And thanks to, I was going to say roll with advantage because of this visual representation and the tone of your voice, all coalesces into a very terrifying PowerPoint presentation that convinces them that there is concern here. And so one of the elder, not the elder, not Drew, but one of the older crows who seems to be in charge, he kind of goes a little pale in the face. Well, they're all pale, but he goes a little paler in the face as you tell him that, and he sort of quietly nods, and then he kind of says, "Excuse me," and he runs over and grabs like a stack of torches and like a sword off the ground and just starts running down into the cellar just to make sure that his people who are down there are safe. And it seems like a majority of the crows are happy, and some look nervous. You could take that to be the fact that they aren't the kind of people to settle down. They've probably all known only nomadic lives, so being welcomed on this close to a major civilization is unnerving to some of the older ones who've probably been at the wrong end of a few people in the past. But the younger ones are just fucking amped to be out of the rain for a little bit.
I do kind of want to follow up on that, like ask the ones that look concerned what's going on, what their worries are.
I probably jumped the gun on the description, but yeah, they would tell you something similar to what I just said, but in their own words. One of them you speak to, an older woman who's clearly been with the crows for some time, tells you that they've tried before setting up shop in even just abandoned buildings, a mile outside of town, and frequently they're chased off. People blame them for small crimes. They blame them for thefts and vandalism. Some even drunkenly wandered out and not this town, but like other nearby towns have sort of treated them like not even second-class citizens, treated them like they don't belong. So the younger ones haven't experienced this, because they stay clear of large towns. They find this sort of civilization like exciting and mystifying, but the others are a little more learned.
Is there any real risk of the town? We've informed the town guard and stuff about them. There's no risk that they're going to get driven out.
You did inform a town guard. Harbin was the former town master, was excruciatingly skeptical about your plan and expressed sincere concerns about them being so close to the city. In fact, I probably didn't say it at the time, but he definitely would have said, well, when things go missing, we know who to look for. But with Town Master Harbin gone, you could assume that the direction of Darren Edelrath might be maybe more in their favor.
I think also they were doing patrols with the crows now, like as guides, so they're probably building a good relationship with them on that front.
It is helpful that the town and the crows have a common enemy, which has up until recently been the Crackmaws, and of course the larger looming threat of Black Spider. common enemies is the best way to forge an alliance.
I would like to recommend to the elders, they should come up with a schedule so that the young experience the nomadic life as well. So they only spend part of the year in the manor, and part of the year retaining their previous culture.
That's good. I like that.
Why don't you quit telling them how to live, man?
I said recommend.
You take their land, now you're telling them what to do? Seems
I'm giving them land.
Yeah,
I'm encouraging them
he
to
forced
preserve
them
their
onto
culture.
land that's not theirs, Ben.
Oh, like you
They were out just living,
No.
hunting.
Frank just reserved this land.
Oh no! Oh no! I was only trying to help.
Where
And
did
then-
he get all these disease-ridden blankets that he just gave away?
And Frank, as you're having this conversation, one of them comes out and goes, "Hey, we found a bunch of oil down here."
Oh, that's
oh
mine.
man, the town's gonna be so excited to know that we
no,
found
you
oil
guys
in our
are-
land.
You guys are in so much trouble. My brother just read that book. It does not end well for you.
All right, but Frank, are you content with the crow's new residence?
I think I actually want to go and examine the basement myself and make sure nobody's under influence and doesn't realize it.
All right. Frank descends down back into Tresendar Manor to poke around.
This is our chance. We all leave town.
So Nate, you've acquired your ingredients. You've lit the brazier.
Yeah.
The Shrine of Luck keepers have stepped away briefly to give you some space. You're not the first wizard to come in here and conduct some sort of odd arcane ceremony, and so they're not. This isn't like an odd situation for them.
Yeah.
And in no time, you're alone with your ingredients and your plan.
Yeah, so I begin lighting the charcoal and not really sure of what to do. Just kind of chuck all the ingredients into the brazier.
No, I just think you're chucking it all in. I'm just picturing like someone trying to cook for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, okay, he's going to the pot.
Yeah, pretty much. So, I imagine it kind of bursts into flame and kind of maybe looks like it's gonna spread outside of the bridge. Yeah, that word. Lamp.
You're
Lamp.
you did it right 10 times. Why are you still having trouble?
I don't know.
Yeah, so you do so, and then you say you sort of close your eyes and you focus on the vision of your familiar, and you're going with a bat. Is that right?
I am. Would like to go with the bat.
Anything in your mind's eye that makes this bat particularly unique from what we're all picturing of a bat, or is it just sort of is it larger than maybe like the ones that might get caught in your house and like?
No, I
something,
think
or is
it's. I mean, it's probably an average sized bat. I would say I probably had a vision of just like absolute blackness, and then all of a sudden like the reflection of two eyes, and then just it flew at me. I could hear it, couldn't see it, and
Yeah, as you begin to burn the ingredients, they create this black smoke. Because it's different than, like, say, the smoke coming from a fire, which is concentrated as it leaves the source and then sort of fades into a thinner form as it rises to the ceiling. This remains a consistent, thick, like, enveloping black smoke. And at times you are suspicious that you've potentially done something horrifically wrong. And as you're trying to maybe adjust the ingredients, it just sort of plumes even more, and the room begins to fill up. And for a moment, it's just like the room has, like, the lights have been snuffed out. And as you sort of are coughing and clearing the smoke away from you, you detect a presence. And out of the smoke rises a black and gray, like very similar to the color of the smoke itself, just seems to spring out of the air. And it flies directly at your face, but stalls midair and sort of comes to a hover briefly before settling onto your shoulder.
awesome.
And then it just seems to sit there as if it's landed on a branch, as if you are not a threat or even a living element. It just sits as if it's its home. And the smoke now unlike a fire, abruptly dissipates, and in more than 5 or 6 minutes, it's the room is clear once again.
Okay.
And so you emerge into the morning light with a bat friend on your shoulder.
I flip a gold coin to the priestess as I walk out the door, but don't say anything.
I love it. I love it. So is this part of your... is this a new spell, or is this part of your your warlock character?
It's the warlock Pact of the Tome thing, so that's my first level spell for Pact of the
nice. One of my players in my local game took the Pact of the Chain, so their familiar is like super special. Like their familiar it can't die. When it runs to 0 hit points, it goes back to like some ethereal plane and then can return when they call it back.
Awesome. Yeah, I think like every time I summon this, I have to pay that 10 gold of ingredients. So
yeah, and yeah, your familiar has the same thing with which is that when you cast a spell with a range of touch, your familiar can act as that element. So you can cast a spell that requires being adjacent through your bat, which is like dope. Okay, yeah. With that done, Frank.
Yes.
Why don't you roll an investigation check for? It takes a little bit, but you're back in the underground dungeon of Tresendar Manor.
Oh no! I die.
And you're poking around in the old cave that once belonged to the Nothic.
Well, I can either assume that he's completely gone and he's there, or I can assume that he's back when he's not, or I can get lost in the basement.
Yeah, you scour the cave, specifically this weird sort of like rift that ran through the basement of the manor. That was not a natural formation. It was like an old underwater cavern that had kind of pierced through the basement of the manor. And you walk it for some time, exploring around, looking for any recent disturbances in the dust or dirt to indicate that the Nothic has returned. But you don't really find any indication that things have changed. It would be unsurprising to you, actually, as you consider it, that the creature struck an allegiance with the former owners and probably might not have as much luck with the crows, who are more skittish than they are interested in forging uncomfortable agreements with weird demonic-like creatures. But as you're walking, you stumble upon a slight decline in the terrain, and you lose your balance, dropping your light source temporarily and sliding and rolling down a hill. And it takes you...
Did we just restart this campaign? Frank's off alone, dying in the dark.
It takes you possibly like almost like an hour to sort of like climb your way out and get back. And in doing so, you're sort of shooken up by the experience, and you're not entirely sure of the results of your investigation any longer, because you find a bed of bones at the base of the decline that you fell down, and unfortunately you smashed them to pieces as you fell on them, and so it's incredibly hard to tell if they're recent or old bones. So you leave now not entirely sure of what you just thought of a few moments ago, and are now actually kind of worried about the crows and being in the basement. And you, in short order, return back to the entrance to this little alcove, and you are back in the upper section of the manor.
I feel like I should act on that and tell the elders what I found. Recommend that they collapse that deep cave part and keep guards posted on the... there was an exit from that ravine going to the outside, right?
Correct, yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to recommend they keep guards there as well.
Okay, sounds good. All right, boys. Since we have a weekend night, so we might have a little shorter time than usual. Let's get to the real shit here. What is your plan? You have conquered Cragmaw Castle. You have rescued Nundro, who is resting happily in the Stonehill Inn. He has given you precise details on how to reach the entrance to Wave Echo Cave, as well as a old dwarven scroll, and he's revealed the text to you through his own blood. This is important for entering. He believes the only other person who could possibly know this sort of dwarven code would be Gundren himself. So, despite the fact that Gundren would have maybe at one point been the only key, quote-unquote, to entering the cave, you now have, essentially, a hard copy. So you are able to reach that cave at your own discretion. Alternatively, you had discussed, I think, some other options of what to do, but I will leave it up to you.
So is Rydoff coming with us? Or is he hanging back with...
Rydoff has returned. He's been staying, as of last night, inside Edermath's orchard. It's unclear if that's where he will permanently be residing, but he has indicated concern with leaving the town. After seeing the violent revolt, it reminded him of why he stays away from people, but it also encouraged him to help Darren secure the town. In fact, when you come to him, he's currently outside the town master's hall with a couple of the builders in town, already discussing the rebuilding of the hall itself. And as he's doing this, other individuals from town, representatives of the various shops, Halia is there. They're all sort of like chewing his ear off with questions, and Rydoff is trying to aid him as best he can in dealing with these folks. Some of the guards have expressed interest in leaving town, as they're afraid they'll now have their pay cut, because it's possible they may have been taking a little bit extra from Townmaster Harbin. So not everyone's super thrilled with the changes that have been implemented to the town. So Rydoff and Darren have insisted upon, or have stated to you that they plan to stay in town to try and cool the powder keg that it has become. But nothing in here is written in stone, so it's like a conversation.
Yeah, I'd like to walk up to him, and the first thing I want to do is just thank him for his help in Cragmaw Castle. So we couldn't have done it without him, especially when he turned into a bear.
Yeah, he grins pretty broadly and says, "Well, I haven't really had a chance to take on an entire battalion of goblins in quite some time, and I gotta say, it was quite refreshing to bite off a goblin head and spit it out. It's something I treasure. So I appreciate you five helping me out with finding my courage again." With that said, did you have any kind of topic of conversation with him?
Yeah, I would just say, well, I mean, you might have another chance coming up here soon if you'd like to get your hands dirty again. I think we're going to head out to, it sounds like, Wave Echo Cave. I'll look at the rest of the group. I assume that's the destination. But could always use another hand, and you certainly know how to handle yourself, so...
He seems surprised by the request. He perhaps wasn't expecting it. And as you ask him, he kind of like leans back, his pipe in his mouth, and thinks about it, and looks at Darren and says, "I don't know, what do you think?" And Darren says, I appreciate that they flatter you. They flatter you too much with talk of your exploits, but I'm concerned that I don't know, Darren. I don't know. Rydoff, we're much older men now. We're not as capable of bouncing back as these five are. Don't you think there's a danger? And Rydoff expresses immediate just dismissal of that idea. That operating under an idea that the choices you make will bring you closer to death is foolish. It's the way city dwellers live, and that the way of the forest is going after the proper course to keep things stable, to keep things safe, to reduce chaos as much as we can, and let nature be nature. And that can only be done by intervention. So he makes the case that he wants to go, and Darren makes the case that it's maybe perhaps a little too dangerous. So besides Nate, do any of you have any takes on them coming or the danger that it might put them in?
We probably shouldn't put them in any unnecessary danger, right?
We've only almost died once or twice.
Every time.
Well, we want to leave the town in their hands, right? So we probably don't want them to die before they can take over.
I kind of feel like this town is in flux, and if he wants to keep the balance between what it was and the nature around it, maybe it needs his guidance.
Agreed.
But I'm an elf, so I think about shit like that while I'm hugging trees.
Literally.
Does sound right. As you're having this discussion, Darren says, "Well, if Write-Off's going, then I'll come too. I still have my old sword and shield back in my cabin. It's still sharp. I make sure that it stays sharp in case I needed it. I haven't needed it for now on 13 years, but it might be the right time. What do you think?"
Well, I for one would be happy to have you, but it sounds like my companions have some reservations. So
I'd like to take Edermath aside and talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell him about the conversation I had with Halia about how she wants the power in the town. And
right.
that if he leaves, she'll take it, and it'll be a great challenge to get it back from her. And then I also want to tell him to not trust her, but she could be an ally as long as she sees profit in their combined actions.
You make an excellent point. Perhaps it might be smarter for the two of us to save our swords and spells for a more appropriate occasion to defend the town.
Black Spider is an appropriate occasion.
Yeah, and I do want to also throw in the idea that, if the Black Spider does get what he wants, there might not be a town to come back to. And I don't really know what choice he should make, but I just think he should be fully informed.
As you guys continue to have this conversation, Write-Off sort of slips off, and in short order, he returns carrying a massive kite shield and a big, not too flashy, but with a slight golden hilt, a longsword that we saw previously hanging up in Edermath, and he presents it to Darren, who pauses for a moment, thinks about it, and then takes up his weapons and arms again. And the two of them, he quickly goes off to one of the members of the town that he clearly seems to have put some trust in, and he kind of has a brief discussion with him. He hands him this big bag of gold and gives him some sort of order about something to take care of while he's gone. And in short order, he returns back. The smithy arrives not long after, with the horse stabler arrives soon after Darren says a messenger, and produces seven horses for you guys to use to make your way towards Wave Echo Cave.
All right. Well, I'm visibly excited that the old man is offering to fight with us again. He's a badass. I'm impressed.
It doesn't hurt to have a giant bear eat your enemies.
Yeah.
Nope.
No,
sure doesn't.
It hurts the enemies.
All right. Well, let's talk next steps here.
Alcar, you've got to stop thinking about the feelings of ghouls.
Skeletons.
They don't have many, but they have a few.
So Wave Echo Cave is frankly not that far from Phandelver, so no traveling necessary, no travel game necessary. It's actually a short trip through the hills, right to the base of the Sword Mountains. Despite your description of where it is, a few of the people, Darren expresses that Write-Off expresses that he's he's explored much of the area in the past, and he's never seen any kind of entrance. So he's surprised by what you indicate is the location of the cave. And Nundro has left you with the proper document to bring, so that you can enter the central chamber and bypass that large gate that only Gundren theoretically could actually pass.
So we don't need Nundro with us, so just the document.
Just the document. His blood was all that was necessary to activate it. Now that you have it, you have it.
It's just scanning the horizon and keeping an eye out, basically.
Yeah, the trip. Yeah, thank you for that. The trip takes you about 12 miles, so it's not much of a part of your day, part of your early morning that you haven't spent in town. And in no time, you arrive at the area described on the map. The trees go right up to sort of the base of these foothills that then make their way up into the Sword Mountains. And the area that you arrive to as you reach your destination is it's not a friendly area. It's extremely rocky. Up in front of you is the sprawling one of the peaks of the various Sword Mountains here, and it is towering. It's like being at the base of one of the larger like Tibetan mountains, where it's just sort of this huge peak, and there's lots of smaller peaks and stout little cliff sides and other things that express some danger. Thankfully, the map indicates that the entrance to Weavako Cave is located at the base of the mountain, so it won't require scaling too far up. But as you arrive and you examine the location, you do see a soft light coming from a cave, maybe about 3 kind of plateaus up. So it would require some light climbing to get up there. It looks like the area around here has been eroded pretty significantly by a river that has now all but dried up. So the land's a little uneven from maybe where it was once at hundreds of years ago, but there's a bit of a rocky climb here to get up to the next section. How do you guys handle this moderate challenge?
Alcar's muttering that he swears there used to be a river here.
You're from the woods.
I spent a year abroad after college.
Mountains are like wood. You know, they're tall.
Okay. I suppose.
How steep is this? Like, you said moderate challenge, but
yeah, it's not like a sheer face that would require like climbing equipment, but it's lots of sort of rising and falling rock formations, some that lead to a flat place you could climb to, but then require you to sort of scale a little bit more. So there would certainly be some moderate climbing necessary here.
I have a pretty good athletics check. I could climb. I could do the initial climb up and then help other people with rope and.
Yeah, if you want to send down a rope, I would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Alcar has very sure footing. He has never critically fallen twice.
Seems weird that you have to specify that.
Well, before he takes his opportunity to climb up, I will cast guidance on him.
Before he starts climbing, I want to send the bat that I summoned up and look through its eyes to make sure that there's nothing up there that he'd be climbing into.
Hey, that's helpful.
Agmar's scared of bats. He tries to kill it.
It's my greatest fear.
Then loses his grip and falls to his death. Look what your bat has wrought.
Well, assuming...
Take it back to that brazier right now.
Assuming Umbra does not see anything, I was going to begin scaling to the first kind of decent footing area.
Yeah. the scan doesn't reveal anything, and so in short order, there's sort of just 2 ledges, is the word I've been searching for this whole time, that you want to reach to before you reach the entrance. So with little effort, Agmar places his weapon on his back onto his back, securing it, tightens his pack, and then just steps up on a rock and almost impossibly begins scaling. Using a crevasse, he seems to be putting one foot on the left side and one foot on the right side, and he just goes up as if he's climbing a ladder that isn't there. And in short order, he's up on the ledge, dusting off some of his armor, and looking back down at the group.
I give a little...
And you're in full plate, right?
Yeah, full plate.
Okay.
Why? Is that weird?
What was that, Pokes?
You say crevasse.
Yeah, is that wrong?
No, you could say crevice or crevasse. I'm just laughing that you said crevasse. It's the fancier way.
I am fancy.
I often have a bacon, egg, and cheese croissant.
And he was wearing
I thought you were going to say crevasse.
Yeah.
So I have... How much rope is it? 30 feet? Is the standard in the...
What comes in
50? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's enough to drop down to... Now,
Sure is.
Honestly, I'm pretty heavy considering all my gear and stuff. I might just kind of tie it around my waist. And just...
Sure. Pop a squat.
I mean, I'm wearing full plate. I already weigh
hands on your
base
hips.
like 250 pounds. And I'm carrying 140 pounds of gear, so...
And he's got a fat ass, so you know he's gonna get up there.
Yeah,
He's a tree trunk.
I'm assuming some elves and stuff aren't going to pull me down.
He a thick boy.
All right, so that means the rest of you can reach Eric with an athletics check of your own, rolled with advantage.
I'm still gonna guidance myself.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
Yeah, go ahead. Just don't worry about me. I'm just gonna Google D&D falling damage. Myself how this works.
Okay, so that adds up to 20. That's okay.
Dario, not to be outdone, scrambles up the side of it himself.
Yeah, that's 20 something.
He just grabs onto
So
Amar's legs and just lets him carry him up.
a 12 was all that was necessary, so we can see in order of success. Dario grabs the rope and begins to scale it without even using his legs. It's just sort of like an upward climb. And as he does, he sort of Frank begins to climb ahead of you, actually. And Frank is about halfway up the rope, and he keeps kind of like his feet keep slipping off the rock. His warlock shoes aren't really meant for tough terrain, and he's having a hard time. He's not falling or slipping down the rope, but he's sort of like moving sluggishly. So in no time, you start climbing up, Dario, and in fact, you hop off the rope and start climbing just the sheer rock, and you sort of reach down and help Alcar climb the rest of the way up. And in short order, the two of you reach the top. Pogues, you follow and just very, very confidently scale that rope, like you've done it a bunch of times before. And following you behind are Darren and Rydoff, who do so maybe a little slower, but they're sort of shaking the dust off, so they start to climb up. As they are on their way up, Eric, I'll just refer to you since you led this group this far. The next climb, it looks a little tricky. It's going to require a bit more troublesome of a climb. It's a bit more straight up and down. There's sort of a slope to this one. You're able to sort of at times just sort of move vertically upwards and hold on to the occasional little divot in the wall. But now you're looking at like kind of like indoor rock climbing with like handholds and maybe even like a crack that you could stick your hand in. It looks challenging. Specifically, the handholds are narrow and thin and not super suited for someone wearing thick armor with thick armor-plated hands and shoes.
But I'm a thick boy. Well, it's going to take me probably like 10 minutes to take off on my own.
Yeah, so would you be able to maybe find an alternate solution to get up there?
I've got that armor that the doppelganger had, which had the bonus to climb. I'm probably not that much
yeah.
worse, but I'm definitely not as strong as Agmar.
I mean,
once
yeah,
I get up there.
if someone got up there and set up, some sort of piton or something like that for a rope.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go. I'm fine. I'll do the same thing, though, with Umbra going up first, just to scan the area, make sure that the ledge above is safe for me.
Mm-hmm.
And... sorry.
No, yeah. It takes. You wait for your bat to return, and he or she. I'll get that right.
He
gets a good scan of the upper sort of ledge, and then comes back down, reporting nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay. Start climbing. I'll cast guidance on myself. I have the +2 bonus, I think, from the armor. So athletics. Plus the D4 guidance +2. 19.
So it is probably one of the more challenging climbs that you've dealt with. This is tricky, and as you start to climb, there are moments where you have to sort of wedge your hand in like a crack and put your whole weight on that before almost like vaulting to reach another handhold. So it's certainly testing your ability. But as you do vault in one of these examples, the sort of like hooks embedded in the armor that's built for this very purpose, you feel them very sturdily latch on to even like the narrowest of ledge. So you can feel almost like an extra element of stability as you reach each one of these positions. And there's a slip or two, and there's maybe a gasp below every now and then, but yeah, you make it up there, and you rise up to the secondary platform. I assume you took some rope with you?
Yeah, I did. The 50 feet, I imagine we pulled it up from the first leg, right?
Yeah. So let's go ahead and, why don't you go ahead and throw that down, and are you going to secure it?
Yeah, is there anything up here I can secure it to, now that I'm up here?
Yeah, there's it looks like this once was like again the ground level was higher, and more importantly there was what appears to be a staircase here going up to the next section. You can see what is about a fourth of a staircase, most of it up above you, but still one of the stone pillars that made the staircase available is present there, so you can lash your rope around that.
Okay.
Also, the vertical climb is shorter. It's not. It was about 50 feet or so on the first leg. This is more like 30. So you can actually use some slack to tie the rope up. It's just a trickier climb. All right. Let's see from the rest of you. Get up here.
All right, I'm gonna guidance myself before going up here again.
Advantage again?
Yeah, if you're using the rope, yeah, you've got advantage to climb. Okay.
Guidance.
Hey, maybe.
Damn, Agmar.
This is my specialty.
So we'll say you go in that order. Trample, you begin to climb, and then right after Frank, you're climbing. And Frank, after Dario helped you out, you sort of saw his technique, and you started to mimic it more so than you did the first time. And you find yourself a lot more confidently climbing. As you're reaching out for a hold, Trample, just as you're maybe like 3 or 4 feet short of the top of this, you reach out and your foot slips as you reach out to the wide to your left reach one of these ledges with your hand, and it swings you down, and you kind of bump your head on the rocks as you swing forward unexpectedly. And as doing so, it knocks a bit of your concentration off, and your right hand comes free of the rope, and you begin to spin down. Frank, Alcar manages to press himself against the rock and avoid being struck by your body, but Agmar makes no such attempt to dodge. Instead, he straight up catches you. Keeping his left hand like this, he puts his arm out and sort of grabs you. He's not the most comfortable thing to land against because he's made of fucking metal. So there is some slight damage. Let's go ahead and roll 1 damage. You take fall damage for about 10 feet. We'll rough it out too as you reach Agmar, and he kind of catches you, and you kind of.
I give him a big old toothy smile. I got you.
And he sort of gets you back oriented on the rope, and in no time the two of you are up. Cassian, as you watch this unfold and realize that now you have an opportunity to climb, or did he step away?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
So just athletics, right?
Yep, with advantage. Okay, yeah, you two, once again, old consistent Cassian, we call him. He just very slow and steadily climbs the rope, just sort of shaking his head at his clumsy teammates.
It's like they've never scaled a mountain to find a drow who's trying to open a portal to unspeakable evil. It's like, come on, guys.
No,
That's what I have.
And this last section doesn't require a climb check because there's enough staircase here to sort of get you up once you get sort of a boost up. So we'll say Agmar maybe can kind of lift you guys up onto the pieces of the staircase that still remain. And with little further effort, you now stand in front of there's this massive crack in the rock that comes down and forms an opening. And from a distance, that opening looked like nothing more than when the natural sort of inclination or the indentation of the mountain face itself. But now that you're standing here and your eyes sort of adjust to the shadows in that indentation, you can see this massive stone arch framing this entrance. It's collapsed here or there, and it looks like there was 2 giant wooden doors here, but one of them has completely fallen down and it's just sort of been rotting on the ground, but the other one is just half open. And it seems to lead into some sort of interior chamber.
Send the bat.
Well,
This definitely
before
looks like dwarven work.
That's with me, not the bat. The bat is still with me.
So the bat moves its way kind of into the indentation with a bit of apprehension and swings through, but comes back seeming none to... I said it into the first section? Like into the cave?
No, actually, I wasn't sending the bat. That was just me listening and scanning. So.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So you just sort of listen quietly, and you can hear just the wind sort of coming, like air coming out from inside, indicating some sort of gap somewhere up ahead, but you don't detect any undue noises. Of course, it's hard to work it out because behind you is sort of like the edge of the forest that's probably got birds and other sort of creatures making noises inside of it. Frank, yeah, you two sort of get a few steps closer, and you close your eyes and just start listening and feeling for air currents, smelling the air, looking for anything that might seem odd. But frankly, you don't find anything of note.
I think it's safe to proceed.
Well, let's go quiet, I guess.
Speak, friend, and enter.
We get all the way up to the door.
Yeah, so you reach this door, and you can see that this was a mining entrance. It looks like they're almost completely buried, but there may have been some sort of track here for mine carts, and it seems to head into a larger space inside. And as you kind of walk along it, you can see maybe the hilt of what would have been like a pickaxe buried for some long time, sticking out of dirt. Dwarven construction, man, it's pretty good stuff. And in short order, you are sort of in this first entrance, which is empty. It's filled with debris, old, broken down wooden boxes, and flipped over tables, rotten furniture, things that indicate a place of business at one point, but now just show utter ruins and decay. The only thing of note is at the far end of this room is a massive, is a not quite as large as the doors you came in, but a large stone door that's been carved with what appears to be a very vivid and detail in the family tree. Just the names written in Dwarvish, breaking and splitting into other names and dividing down, some coming to an end, some moving on to more additional names, and wandering down the rock face here.
Can you read Dwarvish, Alcar?
I cannot, but I might be able to decipher something by cross-referencing my history book, which I pull out.
Can anyone read Dwarvish?
Yeah,
I think the druid can. The rest of us can.
Yeah, because he read something for another time for us.
Yeah, I thought I could, but it's just Orc uses their alphabet. It's not the same thing.
Yeah,
the dwarf didn't come with us, right?
No,
the non-right rock seeker.
Nundro. But yeah, actually, as right off it does approach, and he begins
business. Yeah, that's right.
He begins scanning and looking at it and sort of brushing off some of the dust that's gathered on the names. And he says, "That's the Rockseeker family tree, all right. It's pretty old.
It's just a straight line, though.
It looks to me like it goes only as far as maybe one of Gundren or Nundro's great-grandfathers, but it's all here." And he begins to look around and says, "But I don't see a handle or a mechanism or anything like that."
We've all watched Lord of the Rings, right? in character.
I say friend in elf, and does the door open?
No, but basically you read this as you produce the piece of text out. The text that you've been given to open first door basically speaks about the Rockseekers being a family that is united from the first Rockseeker to the last by their blood, their honor, and their quest for greatness.
We should have brought Nundro's blood. I feel like we need that.
Don't we have a sample of blood?
Well, the document was covered in it or something, right? So
yeah, the document was covered in blood.
We should press the document against the door.
Well, we can read the document now, right? Although it's in Dwarvish,
yeah.
So I guess Right-Off can read it.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like. Can he read it aloud for us?
Yeah, so right off he reads this sort of pact, this sort of like clan motto that I just described out loud in its original Dwarvish with some surprising confidence. And as soon as he's completing the final syllable, you hear the sound of 5 to 6 mechanisms all grinding and churning, and the door begins to open. The two pieces begin to slowly separate. And as they get about 10 or so pieces apart, you hear a faint ringing sound, as if there's a bell on the other side of the door that's ringing. And it begins to start ringing loudly the minute the door begins to open. And it continues to ring even as the door mechanism ceases and the door settles into its position in the wall.
Ah, damn it.
It's the doorbell.
Thanks, Frank.
Hide behind the rock.
Can we see what's causing that?
You can poke around, try and find the source.
Can we see inside now, or is it dark?
Yeah, you can see it's definitely a mining tunnel. It's got those sort of wooden supports that frame a carved tunnel out of rock, and it seems to go through what is mostly a natural cave that's been just sort of hollowed out into a passable passage. and then deeper into what looks like into the blackness beyond. So it reaches even beyond your night vision, so you can't quite see beyond more than 60 feet or 120, whatever it is for you guys. Yes, Trample, you get up and you begin sort of scanning the interior of the door, and there is not a single mechanism for you to find. There's no bell, there's no wires, there's no rope or any sort of objects attached to or adjacent to the door frame.
Damned magic.
So that's where it's coming from.
Magic?
Yeah, yeah, damn me too.
After about 20 seconds or so, the bell just seems to stop.
Okay. Maybe we should wait here and see if anybody comes to check that out.
I
had already hidden, personally. But it's up to you guys.
Yeah, I say we hide and wait for somebody. There's a bunch of debris and stuff, isn't there? Can't we, hide pretty well here?
Sure. Yeah, the group, Darren and Right Off included, move behind some of these larger wheelbarrows and rock lifting crane equipment that's all just fallen into splinters. And in short order, you're sort of tucked behind it, waiting. And 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes pass, and there's not a single sound of a footstep on the other side of the hall.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen, wish me luck.
Heading in?
Good luck.
Very quietly.
Does anybody have detect magic?
Leroy
Yeah, I
Jenkins.
do. Sorry.
I'm gonna guidance before I do this, and I'm gonna sneak in there.
Alright, let's do this.
There's
What?
no map for this, right?
Just to the cave.
Yeah, I mean,
We
we're all
don't
just
have
looking at the same map, right? The big world map?
I haven't moved you to the map yet.
Okay, just want to make sure that
Because
I didn't get left behind or something.
The doors of my invention, so I haven't actually moved to the map yet.
Unless I encounter something spooky or enemies or what have you, I am going to move in as far as they could still see me.
Okay, well, as Tramble does that, I'm gonna walk up to him and grab him by the shoulder and say, "Here," and send Umbra forward instead. No sense risking yourself.
One day something is going to eat your bat, something that I could have hidden from.
Well, then I'll cast invisibility on the bat as he flies away.
Tricky.
Can you do that as much as you want?
I got 2 casts of invisibility till a short rest, so it lasts for an hour though.
If you concentrate.
If I concentrate. Which, by the way, before I did that, I cast a detect magic because Alcar asked me to. I assume that didn't find anything if the alarm's already gone.
Tramble. You enter into the cave entrance. Once again, it's supported by wooden structures and beams. It's collapsed here or there, but nothing indicating a serious malfunction or critical danger with the structural integrity of the tunnel. And it seems to lead into a larger open area where you see a lit torch.
So I will get up to the edge of the torchlight before I cease, unless something jumps out at me.
Okay. So yeah, we'll say you get to about here, and now, Pogues, I have split the party, so you don't see what you see. I found out how to do that.
No, Jeremy dies and we never see it. I'm not upset that he's dying.
Didn't want to do that to you guys.
I would not.
I do
He
want
would
to
let you watch.
I do want to send Umbra forward invisible to watch Tramble die. And by the way, I can see through his eyes as long as I spend an action on it, I think.
So, you stop for a minute, Tramble, because you can see just faintly. Actually, make sure you can see it. Yeah, just faintly up ahead, you see two figures laying on the ground. And that is where you stop temporarily to assess the situation. Swinging back real quick to my other friends outside of the entrance. Dario, you cast Detect Magic, is that right?
Yeah, Alcar wanted to check the area, so I casted that.
To see a faint aura. Yes, so as you cast it, the door frame, and specifically the door pieces that separated at the center, are all have that faint white and sort of sparkly glow that you recognize as the indication of a fading magic spell. I believe you can turn its School of Magic. Yes, it is of the school Abjuration.
Okay. I assume that was the alarm, but I don't know enough about Abjuration to be able to say for sure. So I relate that to Alcar.
As the sound fades, the sort of hue coming off of the door fades at a similar speed.
Okay.
And shortly as your spell sort of begins to wind down, the door is completely inert once again. All right. Anyone on the door outside want to do anything?
I guess
I'll
quietly
move.
approach.
Yeah, we cautiously bring up the rear.
Yeah, they can still see me, so I would motion for them to be quiet, but go ahead and come forward.
Okay.
These guys are either sleeping or dead, probably dead.
Owlbear. That's all.
My perception is to see if I hear anything further out, like as far out as I can hear it, with my special part woofy hearing.
What is it? Is there actually a special element to your healing?
I just get benefits when I get advantage when I rolled it, perceive with hearing. So that's it. It just makes up for my shitty rolls.
Okay, everyone's... Oh, Alcar. There we go. Everyone's characters on the board. Visual element working.
Yep.
Not seeing the whole map.
Nope.
All that stuff. Cool.
Yeah, okay.
All right, Tramble. We'll start with you because you're up ahead. You see these two clear figures laying prone and unmoving on the ground. You stop both because you see them and because you hear a slight groan coming from the head. Like almost like a heavy breathing, like a labored breathing.
I'm gonna cautiously move forward and see if I hear anything else. Nope.
Yeah, as you tune your ears to the cavern ahead of you, you don't detect anything out of the ordinary. Besides how everything here is odd. You're in an old cave that supposedly few have touched in a long time. But besides that, you don't detect any particular any threats is present.
Can I tell if these guys are kin or are they orc or what?
Normally if it was any other race, you probably might not be able to specifically tell, but you can because they are dwarves. They are smaller and they have notable facial hair. Two dwarves lay prone, and some blood pooled beneath them.
Alright, I want to move to the one who's still breathing.
So as you get closer, you realize that both the chests are rising and falling on the two of them. They both appear to be at least partially alive, but they are heavily, perhaps even critically, wounded. One of them has got a red beard with braids coming down from his hair down the side of his face, and the other one's got black hair. It's bound up in sort of like a top knot like ponytail, and he's got this really ridiculous mustache that comes down, almost like a handlebar mustache, and big ridiculous sideburns. They're both wearing dwarven armor, and there is sort of a war hammer left dashed on the few feet away. Oh. Yeah, I read this wrong. Never mind. There's two dwarves, but one of them is definitely not moving.
Okay.
Yeah. One of them is cold. This one right here to your right, the one I described with the black hair, is very cold, and you can tell almost upon as getting close to him that he's been dead, not just recently, but he's perhaps been dead there for a day or two. The other one is definitely breathing.
So I try to stabilize the other one.
Mm-hmm.
And perform some triage to keep him alive.
Excellent medicine. Yeah, so you begin dedicating your medical ingredients to the most critical of his wounds, which you're able to identify thanks to your expert medicinal training. And you begin putting pressure on a wound that has probably contributed to most of the blood that's pooled under him. And you begin to sort of help support his head, which has been sort of cocked back at an awkward angle. And he begins to stir a little bit. Hold on, I gotta get this. Shit, yeah. Tramble, roll an investigation check for me, using advantage. Yeah. All right. I know what to do here. So, one sec.
Can I guidance it? Because I pretty much want to say, like, presume I pray before I do anything.
Yeah, I mean, something tips you off here that something's perhaps a little bit of a miss. So yeah, if you wanted to do some guidance, that would be good. Yeah. Okay. It makes it even better. So let me use this. Okay. Yeah, so as you are leaning over and trying to straighten this gentleman up, you notice something odd. The wound, as you start to apply your medicine to it, the clothes are torn, and there is definitely blood, but it's not coming from the wound directly like you would expect. And there is a lot of blood on the ground, that's unquestionable, and a lot of blood on this individual. But as you start to apply medicine, you are suddenly suspicious of the source of the blood. And then your sort of spider sense begins to kick in, and then you quickly realize that there's a flash of light from the hand of this character. They are holding a dagger that they've been sort of laying on top of so as not to give it away. And they quickly reach up and attempt to stab you.
Ah!
Okay.
Dick move.
Tramble, this blade moves so quickly, even though you've got the gist that you're about to be attacked, and you attempt to put your just to rise up so you're not in such of a disadvantageous position on one knee tending to this creature. But as you try to move backwards, the knife just sinks firmly into a gap in your chest armor, dealing you 13 damage with a critical hit. And quickly, as you look down and stumble back in pain and surprised by this sudden betrayal, it's now clear to you, based on the individual in front of you, as their shape begins to shift and their face begins to change, that you are looking at one of these doppelgangers. Similar to the one that you fought in the entrance hall, or in the keep within Cragmaw. I was going to get a surprise round, but I don't get a surprise round, so instead I'll just start initiative and get everybody in. You guys back there do hear your friend cry out.
I will.
So go ahead and roll your initiative.
Are Right-Off and Darren with us?
Yes.
Way to roll, no initiative.
Yeah.
He's still a little winded from all that climbing.
So Ben, Umbra has his own initiative, but I'm not going to use him in this fight, so it's not really a big deal.
Yep. Yeah, familiar.
No one laughed at that.
Too late.
Is this thing totally going to get to go again?
No.
Okay.
I do not get a surprise round because of your exceptional detective skills. I just get to start the initiative.
Ah, alright.
And now we'll go in normal order. So, technically I've gone, so I'll go to the bottom, and it's Cassian. Yeah, you hear your friend scream in pain up ahead.
I guess I'll run to him, but I don't know how far I can get.
Do Right-Off and Darren have initiatives?
Yeah, let me get them. Sorry.
I can get there, but that required me to double move. Or is there running in this version?
No, double move is a thing.
I mean, like, can you run as just a move action?
I don't
Talking about
think
like
so.
a straight line movement.
Yeah, I guess I can't really move in a straight line anyways. So I'll run up here.
You have a crossbow or something, right?
Yeah, but I don't know, they're like not really in the light and I can't see in the dark.
There's a torch there.
Yeah, I'm just looking on my screen, they're like barely outside of it, so I guess I could try firing when I get in range. I'll stay here. One of you guys should be able to catch up. And you have a crossbow.
Yeah, did anyone bring a source of light?
My sword's on fire.
I don't need one.
Which would basically be like if I was carrying a torch.
What's your AC, folks?
Currently, it is 17.
Let's see, set these up to be... So you've got a torch with you, the ring?
Yeah, I mean, my sword is on fire and it emits light because it's fire. So, it's basically like carrying a torch.
Yeah, so we'll just put that with you. The torch. Okay. You're up there. Right-Off is gonna...
One of those guys is dead, right?
Oh, so we thought.
Yeah. One is the corpse and the other is a doppelganger that was pretending to be a wounded dwarf.
Could you mark the dead one just so we know which one's which?
Yeah. Okay. Right off move. Just fucking sprints. Gets up there, draws his weapon, and activates Shillelagh, turning his simple staff into a magic weapon of bonus damage.
Badass murder stick.
Badass fucking murder stick. We're ready to roll, but unfortunately, like Cassian can't do anything. Tramble. So you are standing again, grabbing your side where blood is sort of pouring out of a wound from a dagger. A stiletto that's been stabbed right into your abdomen, and you're not thrilled about it.
So I look at the creature and I say, "Do you know anyone at Cragmaw Keep?" Well, you don't anymore. And I'm going to use my second wind as a bonus action to recover some hit points.
Mm-hmm. I got you good with a crit.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the roll you're after. Damn it! Just completely negated my crit.
Oh, that's what I needed. Alright, and I'm pissed at this thing, so I'm gonna magic missile it.
Yeah, you stand up and you just sort of cinch your armor tighter around where the wound was, just to sort of keep some blood in, and you just sort of crack your neck. And then you just aim both hands down as it sort of gets up on its feet too, after striking you with its stiletto still in hand, and just just three blasts just cascade across its face, and it's not super amped about.
See, I scream "Die, monster!" and that's my turn.
So I see no one else on this map, but a couple of grayed out icons that don't look like anybody. What direction is all this happening in relation to me?
Northeast.
I'm looking at your guy. I can sort of...
You have dark vision, right, Hawkeye?
Yeah.
I'm looking at... I can do like a thing where I can see what you see, and it looks normal to me.
I see 4 icons. Like, the one next to me looks great, almost.
Are you zooming in? Because this map is huge.
Well,
I think if you just
changed for me.
Okay. Anyway, they're up the hallway.
I can move you closer if it'll help.
Were you wondering if you had line of sight? 'Cause it's...
Oh, hold on. No, there's 2 of me. There's one in the far top of this map.
How's that work?
It's impressive.
Accidental drop, maybe?
Doppelgangers.
Oh, kill him. Clearly this...
If he's over there, then...
Which one's the real Alcar? Hurry, does anyone have a skull?
Okay, now...
Somebody
now I
find
see
a
what's going
ghost
on.
and see if they're friends.
Oh yeah, there is an Alcar up here. What the fuck is this?
Was he?
Well, he was at the very top of the map. I gotta reset the fog real quick. Okay, so you might see some change there.
So that removed him from initiative, I think, when you took him off the map. So,
Yeah, he was the wrong token. So yeah,
Alcar just dropped out of time.
So that was the real Alcar. Shit.
do you remember?
The real Alcar, please stand up.
Do you remember your initiative number, Frank?
It was 11.
Alright, I got you back. You good?
Frank?
Yeah, so I'm gonna move forward. And... What did we determine on the double move? Can I move up to where Cassian is?
You can basically move twice, and then you take no action. It's just both.
I guess that's as far as I can get. I think.
You moved. Still have your action left. You can move again or attack.
Yeah, that's as far as you can go if you want to take an action.
What's that thing next to you there, Tramble?
There's a dead guy to my right, and the thing that I'm screaming at is above me, to the north.
Well, I'm gonna hex it and Eldritch Blast it.
Oh, I always believed in you.
Even after I didn't grab you when you were falling.
You have great reflexes.
So, Tramble, you hear the telltale sounds of eldritch magic behind you, and you slowly pivot a little bit to the right just to create an opening, and right past over your left shoulder comes an array of those terrifying green and black tentacles that come piercing and ripping through this creature's sort of natural armor, dealing it 10 damage. It's like, is that right?
That's correct. And I will target its dex. Why not?
Okay. Good. Okay, use the boot. Alright, so let's go on to Dario.
Ben, before I take my turn,
Yep.
in the tunnel I did want to cast invisibility on my Bat Umbra, so if I had time to do that, I'll have done it, and I'm concentrating on it, but if I haven't had time, just let me know. Either way.
Okay.
So 10, 15, 20, 30. And I'll take a crossbow shot at it. Assuming that's a hit.
Yep, gonna do it. Yeah, that's gonna be a hit.
Uh, 12 damage.
Okay.
Hey. Who said that? Oh my god. Awesome. Can I control it?
I'll set it that way here in a sec. But yeah, I can. That way you can always kind of decide where it's going to be. Okay, cool. So, sorry, it was 12 damage, is that right?
Yeah, 12 piercing.
All right. So the bolt comes out of your crossbow again a sound everyone recognizes, the trademark sound of the latch firing and sending this bolt across the sky. Which again, as this thing stumbles backwards from multiple hits, it kind of sinks directly into its thigh, hitting an important blood vessel and causing its leg just to be sort of gushing blood. This sort of ugly brackish black blood that comes out of it that you've seen before.
It's actual blood, not the fake blood.
Yeah.
Whose blood was he in? Dwarves?
Yeah, there was real red blood on the ground before laying there as part of his deception.
That's it for me, sorry.
Yeah, Sildar comes charging up and got his short bow out.
Is it Sildar or Darren that's with us?
It's Darren.
Yeah, my bad. I have the wrong name.
Sildar is dead as shit.
Okay.
It's a doppelganger.
I was afraid it was another doppelganger.
Get him.
Fucking everyone. Everyone is
actually,
everyone dies.
That would be hilarious. We fight a bunch of doppelgangers and they're all like Glassstaff and Sildar and Gundren and ourselves.
The Thing, man. You need a Thing RPG.
Okay.
Mostly just for the checkmate scene.
But when he pours the
The whiskey into the computer. Yes.
expensive,
Yeah, it was like 1982.
just because he's pissed, he ruins the expensive computer.
Okay. Sorry. Rolling some damage for an NPC who does. Fuck! Darren! 10 damage. That bolt. Yeah. So, it's just like a pincushion. This character is just being stabbed and shot repeatedly, before, just like being almost like ricocheted backwards from multiple hits from different angles. Agmar, you realize that you've been staring at your shoes the whole time while your friends are running the battle, and it's your time. It's your turn.
Yeah, that is pretty much what happened. So I'm just going to try to get as close as I possibly can. Can I occupy that space?
Behind right off? Yeah. You're good.
Well, that's, hold on, that's 10. Okay, there we go. That is as close as I can get.
Okay.
And I guess I draw my Warhammer. That's my turn.
My dark vision's messed up.
Let's see. You have 120, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think it would go a little further.
Thanks, man.
It's 120 for Nate because of something special. Everyone else is 60.
Oh, okay.
So I've set up each of yours. Make sure right actually. Yeah, each is 60, but it begins to fade.
Except for Pogues, who's the 0.
5 feet, I think.
I don't need to see in the dark.
You just hear everything.
Smell everything.
Okay. Yeah. So the doppelganger rises up and is going to make a couple. Is going to try and slam you backwards. I rolled a 17 against Trample. Sorry.
Oh, that will miss?
Okay. 2 attacks here. 24.
Oh, yeah, that'll hit anybody.
Yeah. I hope.
So, slashing twice at you, he manages to do 9 damage to you before stepping back into a defensive position, blood pouring from his right side. Yeah, that'll do it. Oh, I missed something. Ooh. That's on me. I'm gonna partial that. Tramble, I hate doing this, but I have to play my monster correctly. That first round, I have a special surprise attack thing. Do a little bit of extra damage when if I manage to surprise someone with an attack on the first round of combat, which I did. Oh, okay, good. I rolled low. So unfortunately, I'm gonna need you to take another 8 damage. That would have came from the first hit that was sent.
that was low.
It's 3d6, so yeah, it could have been
Jeez.
worse. He does a ton of damage on the first attack. It's sort of the whole point of so. Not to give too much away. I didn't want to play this monster wrong, or else it'll seem too weak. Okay, so that is my turn, Cassian. I mean, what's the point in health potions if I don't make you use them?
I'm gonna lunge forward at him and stab with both my swords. I'm gonna assume maybe only the 16 hits.
The 16 is a definite hit, and the first is a miss.
So 8 damage.
Okay.
And if for some reason he takes extra damage from a silver sword, you know.
He has been defeated. So, Cassian, talk to me. How do you kill him?
He'll just jump forward as he sees Trample get stabbed, his, compatriot, and just drive both his swords. The first one will glance away, but the other one will go straight through his chest.
Yeah, and as it sinks into his chest, he kind of grabs the blade and holds onto it and snarls at you and says, and tells you, you don't know what's in store. The Black Spider. After tonight, everything, all of Faerun will be different. And he says to you, you surface dwellers will know what our lives are like.
Then I'm gonna pull my sword up, and before I do, I'm gonna be like, you won't though, and I'm gonna yank it up and split open his chest.
And then just blood goes into the air. It's really gross, Eric. And he collapses to the ground dead. Combat over.
Okay.
You don't look so healthy, Tramble.
Ouch. Alright, so I'm gonna heal myself, and I'm gonna do this as a level 2 spell.
It'd be better to give you a healing potion, save your spells, or no?
The healing potions don't do that much, and I kinda got my ass kicked.
Spells come back, potions don't.
That's 15. So I'm doing alright now.
Okay. So you are standing in this cave entrance. Like I said, this room and this area that you've progressed into is definitely a natural formation that's been sort of bored into by the miners. And up ahead, it is to your sort of northeast. It is essentially a dead end. There just seems to be a sort of a pit, an open pit that heads down, in which it then breaks off into two passages that were clearly dug out by an individual or a group of miners. And you can see just a slight bit of light coming out of from both edges of the pit, indicating that there is some sort of passage into the section deeper in on both sides.
Before we go anywhere, I'm going to use a perception roll to try to pick up the scent of what a doppelganger smells like.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. So it's faint. They don't. Their blood has a distinct odor, significant odor. Not like it stinks. It just to your detected nose, it smells off. It smells fetid. It smells almost like an undead creature in a way. But the blood only. The body itself, or its skin, or any of that, any component of it, doesn't necessarily give you any sort of any particular smell.
So I don't think I could identify a doppelganger by scent, like if he was pretending to be somebody else.
If the character was bleeding in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Okay, so I just have to cut everyone with meat.
So I was about to say, so this is like the thing.
Yeah. So, and in fact, as you kind of go using what you've picked up here, Cassian, as you look over at the other body, and you can see that this body has bled in the past. Not recently. It seems to have been deceased by a couple of days, but you can tell by both smell and sight that this is not a doppelganger. Plus, you've also learned that they can't retain a shapeshift when dead. That's been made clear to you.
Yeah, killing them seems to have taught me that one thing. That, and they kind of go down like bitches, you know? They always try to do something. Just have some dignity and die, you know?
You know? Yeah.
So this wasn't a doppelganger?
Yeah, the one on the ground is a legitimate dead dwarf.
Oh, the other one. Okay.
As you're sort of looking over it, Darren steps up to the group and looking over sort of the doppelganger, and he seems particularly alarmed by it. He says, I don't think I've seen anything like this. Are you guys... You seemed undeterred by it. I assume this has some... You've had some experience?
All the time.
Yeah, this isn't the first one of these we've seen working for the spider. They're not normally laying around pretending to be wounded dwarves, though.
Yeah, Darian nods. He goes, when he heard you came, he put together this ruse. I don't know. But I can tell you that that's not a doppelganger over there. That's Tharden. That's the third rock seeker. It's like he tried to forge ahead on his own, didn't make it.
He made it to the door. What a quitter.
So this is Tharden Rockseeker laying on the ground. Like I said, he's dressed in dwarven armor. Although the one thing that would catch your attention, other than his light warhammer laying next to him, which doesn't look particularly special, his boots are impressive. They kind of have a particular sparkle to them, and they give you the indication that they are magical.
Just the sparkle is enough.
Well, it'd be a shame to just leave them there for the rats to chew on.
Oh, hey. Sweet. Thanks, Ben.
The book doesn't even make them a mystery either. So they... I can link this. Boots of striding and springing. Tharden's favorite boots. His most treasured possession. He's dead.
Wow.
Other than that, the passage ahead looks to be only through one of these tunnels down about a 30-foot little drop into the pit.
So Ben, I can see through my familiar's eyes, but only up to 100 feet away, so it's actually not that far. It's like less than my line of sight.
Yeah.
But I'm doing that right
corners,
now.
though.
I'm just scouting with him. Can he have dark vision? He has blind sense. Sees a bat.
Yeah, I can update it still for a minute.
Aren't bats blind?
They have sonic vision.
Gotta go fast.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. I think it's just 30 feet, though, if I remember. So.
I added the boots to the group loot. We can figure out who has them later.
I'll be back in just 1 second.
So the bat is invisible.
Okay. Yeah. So the sort of the most that you sort of got a visual on is as you enter through this passage that you sent him through. Once you kind of come out on the other side, it's clear that you're looking at like much cleaner, sturdier walls. Less sort of the rough, tumble walls, almost as if it's like a brick and mortar hallway. Like as if this tunnel digs into a much older ruin that's been here before the mine was here. As you make your way into the section a little bit to your right and kind of peer ahead, you see where many tunnels intersect. The walls are carved with simple reliefs showing dwarves and gnome miners hard at work. Below them, you see about 24 skeletons and rusty scraps of armor scattered across the cavern floor of this area that you are just to the east of you, or you're just east of your vat.
Okay.
That's it.
Bring him back and say there's some skeletons up ahead, but I don't see anything moving.
I ask if the skeletons seem friendly.
I don't know, that's your department. Why don't you go and ask?
There could be a trap over there if there's that many bodies.
Yeah, they weren't moving though, right? Stationary skeletons.
I mean, yeah, we're talking long dead skeletons.
Shattered. Okay.
I'm going to run to the restroom real quick and grab a drink. We'll put a little pause here since we've been playing for a little bit. What is your next intention here?
That's the only way.
Do we want to cross the chasm, or do we want to check what's up to the left there?
Yeah, is that the only direction to go? Did we check what's to the left yet? Can we? Because I just can't see anything over there.
Oh, it's dead end.
Yeah, no. There's a passage to the left and a passage to the right. Yeah, where Algar is a dead end, but this little pit is your way in to the left or to the right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Both entrances are extremely similar, although the bat did kind of explore to the right so far and found splitting hallways going in different directions, and in one particular larger opening, piles of dead corpses.
And you said we saw light earlier. Where was the light coming from?
There's a bit of light coming from this direction.
That seems like it might be more recently traveled then, if something's still illuminating.
So I guess we should send the bat that way before making a decision.
Yeah, but we can wait till Ben gets back.
Yeah, we can take a pause.
So that's what we'll do. We'll send the bat to the left when you get back.
Drown phase. Germany, how many spellcasts do you have? Never mind.
Hey, Nate.
Hey, Frank.
What did you do with that bat picture?
I think I still have it somewhere. It should be on Discord still, I think. If I can get Discord to go full screen. Can you open that?
Yes. We're calling him Umbra?
Yeah.
I like it, because I know what it means.
Means,
It's named after the
brazier?
famous shorts company, Umbro.
Yeah, it's a very intentional name.
I feel like during solar eclipses, he should turn into some sort of gigantic werebat.
I'm okay with it if Ben's okay with it.
Those happen every 900 years in this world.
Elves live a long time.
That's true.
Not how elves, though.
I assumed when you picked Umbra, you just meant the shadow.
That is what I meant. Darkest point within a shadow, specifically.
Yes.
Because eventually I'll probably be casting darkness on that, so... Taking this elevator music though. So mellow.
Who is here?
Everyone
I'm Zinziers now.
Jeremy, I think, might still be gone. But otherwise, I think we're all here. Oh. You're really quiet all of a sudden, Jeremy. FYI.
Oh yeah, my headset wasn't properly positioned.
Yeah, so I'll say send Umbra forward, I guess. I can't send him, like I said, more than 100 feet out, so this area. Okay, so the hallway, there's an intersection left and right from just inside. Looks like the left is a dead end.
Were you able to tell where the light was coming from?
There's a torch in here on the left.
Yeah, you spot a torch just laying on the floor. Still lit.
Well, that's irresponsible.
Yeah, it's terrible fire safety.
It's odd.
It is odd.
We could investigate that area, see if we find anything. Maybe there's another secret door.
And I can't really see anything too far down the hallways, but there's two of them. One to the northwest and one to the northeast. But I don't see any monsters or anything. It's about as far as I can go, I'm pretty sure.
So that's the way with no dead stuff. But the other way sounded more promising as far as like the layout of the buildings go. It sounded like that was leading into an older ruin.
Yeah.
Well, true, but we're still looking for one of the rock seekers, right? He could still be alive.
Gundren, right? The last one? The one who sent us that.
The one that hired us in the very beginning?
Yeah.
Also, I would bet that the spider would know which direction to go. Unless this torch is meant to lure us in the wrong direction. Who has good tracking skills that could suss out which way they probably went most recently?
You do.
Undead or fiends or
Fae.
Fae. Actually, I don't know if it is Fae.
That's were creatures, isn't it?
Faye?
Well, I will say a prayer and inspect the area and see if we can tell like where the doppelganger came from or any other footprints or anything like that.
Yeah, roll an investigation check.
So do we have to
Whoops.
cross this chasm
So I
somehow?
guess take the first one and add 1.
Yeah, the 19 check. Yeah, so...
Oh, I almost figured it out, and then Cassian fell on the footprints.
Wait, that was supposed to be with advantage. There we go.
Yay, helped.
So the doppelganger, you can discern that there's been some movement through here recently, and it does show movement in both directions ultimately, but there is, especially with Cassian's excellent survival and tracking techniques and what you've already discerned from the room itself, you can discern that the top layer, the layer that ends at where the doppelganger was laying, came from the left passage.
Oh, I was rolling to see if I could find the footsteps of a Fae, which would be a drow. To see if I can figure which direction the spider went when he came in.
I don't think drow are Fae.
How are drow not Fae? They're just evil elves.
Elves aren't Fae either.
We've been too long removed from the Feywild.
Oh my god, I forgot how stupid 5th edition is.
They've never
Yet
been
we
Fae.
still feel the longing for it.
You really shouldn't have picked Fae.
Well, it's not
Oh, I
a
don't
choice.
get
It's, yeah.
They include
Okay.
sprites, spriggans, thorns, satyrs, pixies, nymphs, leprechauns,
Yeah. So we're ready for Ben's leprechaun game.
fawn, dusklings, dryads, bantrays, and a bunch of names I cannot pronounce. A lot.
So what are drow considered?
Humanoid.
Drow, yeah, just humanoids.
They're kith, like elves and dwarves and humans.
Eric enjoyed that.
You shut up, Eric.
Oh, did you guys take the guy's boots? By the way,
I don't need them.
before we move out of the room?
I threw them into the group loot. I thought it'd be a shame to leave them here.
It would be. They're a good item. Oh wait,
We should also just put them in a respectful pose, death pose.
You look over and Agmar is just like just putting him in like a pose where he's.
Could bury him.
Hey,
beard.
stop that! Cut that out.
You could just take him outside and bury him, or something.
His brother might be a more pressing matter to attend to.
Okay.
Okay.
He looks dignified at the moment. That's enough.
So the drop's about 10 feet down. It's like a slope. Looks easy to go down, tougher to come back up.
Can we throw a rope across? And well, just
You can throw a rope down just to make sure nobody goes tumbling down.
do that, and I guess I'll
Sure.
go down first.
So go ahead and roll me some athletics check just to scale down. Like I said, it's sloped moderately, still pretty steep. Go with a rope. It's not much of a challenge. Go ahead and roll. That's good enough. You don't need to roll advantage. You're already good.
All right.
All right. So Dario's down, and you can see sort of your way into the next passage.
Did we say we put a rope so we have advantage?
Yes, and I'm thankful for that rope.
Yep. So advantage. Yeah, Tramble. It's an awkward descent, but you're fine. Down.
With the rope, do I have the option of acrobatics, or is it still athletics?
It's still athletics, yeah. Gotta use that skill sometime, right? Oh, Frank.
I've mastered descending things.
Fast rope.
Remember to wear gloves?
Frank.
Don't be that guy from Black Hawk Down.
Frank, you look towards everyone and you nod and say, "I think I've got this rope stuff figured." And you just do a backflip off the ledge and land like with a gymnastics pose at the base, effortlessly. As you do, Frank, something that was not noticeable to the others during their survival or perception checks. You can notice that that there's something. There's like a soft, like just the faintest hint of somewhat of a viscous liquid on the ground where you land.
I examine it.
It looks like a natural substance, not necessarily some sort of magic or anything. But you don't, by initial glance, know what it's related to or what it comes from.
Should I do investigation, nature, arcana?
Nature probably would be most accurate.
Should I be extremely worried?
Well, take the one, because I forgot I was still on advantage.
Yeah, it looks to you like excrement, potentially.
I say, I think that there are more bats in this cave than just Umbra, and I hold my fingers up with the goop on them.
Oh, you
Friends.
stop touching the doo-doo.
I didn't know it was doo-doo until I touched it.
Feel like I have to say that far too often.
But yeah, it's sort of like it's a slightly viscous kind of like deep orange, and there's just a trace of it here on the rocks that you didn't notice until you stepped down so expertly.
I kind of put my finger out towards who's next to me down there. Tramble? Yeah, Tramble. You ever see orange bat doo-doo?
Dario asked what it tastes like.
Wash your hands, Alcar.
Cassian, Agmar, you coming down?
Does anybody's passive intelligence sort of think orange doo-doo doesn't make sense?
I mean, out. My character's dumb is the thing.
Yeah, I mean, there.
I wanna say yes. I agree with what you're saying, but I'm dumb.
Let's try to deduce whatever that material is.
It's probably just got a lot of iron in it.
Jesus, Agmar.
That's the one thing. I can hit stuff with my hammer, and I can climb.
You run, and you cross the entire thing, and you kind of do like a backflip off the opposite wall, and then come landing down.
And he lands in even more of the orange doo-doo. Even harder.
And I think that's perfectly normal. Oh, this orange poop is just fine.
Cassian, you for like a half second kind of slip onto your ass, but you kind of catch your balance and get back up on your feet as you kind of slide down the rest of the way with the rope, and you get down. Not graceful, but you don't actually slip and fall. And
I am a little concerned by the amount of it. It's either a lot of little things or one very big thing.
All right. What's next?
So Ben, I did roll survival to try to figure out what the orange goop is. But...
Yeah, I saw that. It's not necessarily the correct skill, but I'll allow it. It'll just be a little bit tougher, and because of that, I'm not really picking up on anything. It looks like a natural. It looks like it's maybe like a cave. It's related to like either a creature or just a natural growth in the cave. You can't narrow it down, but it looks like to you, based on experiences, something that can show up in caves. Its source unknown to you.
Okay. Yeah, I have no idea.
Does Rydolph have any ideas?
Damn it. Alright, so I'm gonna roll advantage on that, because God knows.
While Rydolph ponders that, I'm going to ask Shagroth and Mr. Whiskers if they recognize it.
Are we being quiet when we're asking each other these questions? I hope.
You ever seen orange poop before?
He comes over and he examines it and he goes, I try to stay away from caves. They're not my preferred terrain. But if I'm not mistaken, from at least a couple of the layers that I've been into, I think this is ooze.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooze creatures often leave
What do you suppose is the secret?
a faint trail. Rydolph thinks for a minute, and then he draws a weapon and he just starts stabbing Cass, and he just starts murdering him.
That's weird.
But yeah, he
It's not that weird.
You know, I'm not quite sure of the, I guess, breed or species, but it's certainly an ooze creature of some kind has come through here. It's the best he's got. He didn't roll so hot either.
All right.
Can I roll to see if I know anything as a monster dude guy?
You do know that of the monster types, ooze is its own type.
I mean, can I roll to see if I would know what one leaves behind? Or if I know anything about the type of ooze?
Sure.
What would that be? Survival, nature?
I think it's still a nature thing, because the oozes are naturally occurring creatures. They aren't born out of alchemy or mysticism. They are existing creatures, and they are rare. They don't show up very often, and most are underground dwelling creatures.
That could be what left all those skeletons.
Is there a trail that leads out of this?
There wasn't a sufficient amount of it. Just a small bit that had been sort of trapped in a pocket of rock.
So I say we go north.
Sure.
I agree. This ooze/poop stuff has tarried us long enough.
Frank's saying that like all the time. I could just. Frank's always saying that.
Well,
It's kind
I
of
gotta
his
turn off
thing.
advantage.
Dario, your cell phone rings. And
What is this?
Deet, 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 deet.
Sorry, guys, I gotta take this.
Yes, Dark Master?
Yep. Not right now. No. Give me time.
So, are any of you carrying light source? Can we establish before we get any deeper into the?
Do you put out your sword, folks?
No. It's still glowing.
A good point. I didn't think about that being a light source.
Oh,
I
yeah,
have
sorry.
torches in my pack that we can use once we no longer have light in the current surroundings.
Well, I can cast dancing lights if we need it. I would just prefer to be stealthy.
Pogues, do you have control over that torch there? You don't have to like totally maintain it, but I just want to be curious for your own sake, just to make things easier.
Yes, it looks like I can move it.
Okay, yeah, I think I set the torch to be moved by everybody. Okay, cool. Yeah, you can just that'll be sort of the avatar for your sword, just so you can just catch it up to you once you move somewhere. It's fine. You can constantly move it. I know it's annoying. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Tramble, you step forward in front of the group. As Dario moves, a bunch of stone comes loose and comes tumbling down, and a piece like hits the ground, hits a solid piece of like a vein of like a marble or something coppery, like some sort of vein that's very solid. And as the stone strikes it, it echoes down the hallways in a couple different directions. Not like through the entire, mine or anything, but for the vicinity, it leaves a noticeable sound.
Okay. I hope they don't have any cave trolls.
And Tramble, you poke ahead here, and yeah, you see that torch to your left. You see a passage kind of to your forward left, and then another passage that dead ends, but then also takes a turn to go to the north view on your left. You look over also as you kind of get a chance to kind of pause here, and you can see that torch that Dario mentioned, and you also see a glint of something, sort of the light from the torch bouncing off an object adjacent to the torch.
That was an obvious trap. It's probably not a trap.
I'm gonna move a little closer and inspect.
So as you get closer, no specific check necessary to identify what you're looking at, but you can of course examine your surroundings. The object from where you can see looks to be like a magnifying glass, part of perhaps like a kit a Dungeoneer might bring down, that's been left adjacent. You also notice there's like a pick, like a mining pick, but no hammer. It looks like someone like items from a Dungeoneer's bag that might have fallen out. And this torch, as you get close, sorry, I didn't describe it correctly before. It's not a lit torch. It's like a rod with like a lighting element at the end, like an arcane, a simple arcane trick to sort of
interesting.
Create like a glow rod in a way, and it's just sort of there, like almost like a glow stick left behind. It produces a moderate amount of light. Damn it. Okay, Dario. As you take a step forward, it's to the position that you're in. Your foot, it makes a squishing noise as it steps on the ground, and as you lift it up, your foot kind of leaves like trails of this orange ichor that you discovered before, and as you sort of hone in to what that might mean, you feel a presence on the ceiling above you. And as you glance up, you see it in an instant as it accidentally moves a little too much and loosens some of the rubble from the ceiling, immediately giving away its position. And you are now staring face to face with an ochre jelly.
Is that bad?
It's bad.
Oh god.
But also pretty tasty.
Yeah.
Don't eat it.
And once again, Tramble screaming is the sign to move forward.
Alright. Go ahead.
I really hope this is like a recurring thing of horrible shrieks of Tramble. It's like, oh, our battle cry.
Guys, I'm gonna peek up ahead. Oh god! Get up here, get up here, get up here! Bad.
I had a pretty good stealth check. Does this thing see me, or because you said Dario came forward and it came out?
It's completely loses its attempt at a Heckmar. It completely not only does it completely lose its attempt at a surprise, but it actually almost falls off of the ceiling as it attempts to scoot closer to you because of that loose rubble. So I'm going to roll a disadvantage on my initiative.
Nice.
I got a critical fail my stealth check. So not my best moment. Here. Five it is. Okay, everyone got into the list. Nope, we're missing one. Nope, get everybody. Okay. Oh, my guys now. That's what I meant. Yeah, you know what it is.
Pillars.
I've been stealing more Pillars music recently because it's just so fucking good.
I saw you playing it recently.
Yeah, I've been kind of. I finally feel like I've gotten the hang of it. So much more. Sorry, man.
Are you playing 1 or 2?
1. I don't have 2 yet because I barely even gotten halfway through 1.
I'm waiting on the DLC.
It's worth it to play 1 first.
Definitely worth it. Yeah.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
2's an improvement, but it's not that much different. It's more just a continuation of the story and slight improvements.
All right.
I do so much better in combat than 2. All right. Can I see the stumbling jelly on the ceiling?
No, you just hear screaming.
How difficult is the climb ahead of me?
No climb. Straight shot.
Difficult terrain at all, or oh, I see. This is like an arch that I'm passing into.
Correct.
Okay, now I get it.
It's where you lose your cell phone reception.
Mm-hmm. Except for Dario.
Yep.
Oh, now I see it. I will move Hex to the ochre jelly and target its dex because it's slipping on the ceiling, right?
It's on the ground.
Yeah, it's still on the ceiling, but it's sort of like part of it's sort of dripping off, kind of hanging. It hasn't fallen down because it can stick to things without having a check, so it's fine.
I'm gonna guess that hits.
That is a hit.
11 damage.
All right. It takes a direct blast from Eldritch Blast, which wraps its weird tentacles through its creepy torso. And unlike other creatures that you hit with this, which seem to take recoil from it, and maybe even just are scarred or marked by it, your stuff passes through it as if it's as if it's jelly. It just moves and sort of goes through, and pieces of it go splattering around the room, indicating that you've certainly lessened its vitality, but it's not like fighting other creatures. Put it that way.
In Primordial, I will tell it that its shapelessness will not save it from the void.
It says here, language is done. Okay.
But I imagine Primordial sounds pretty cool to everyone.
It definitely sounds very cool. Cassie. You hear screams.
So I guess I'll move in that direction.
Okay.
Where is everybody?
Oh yeah, I forgot how flanky it is. They're all this way, to the northeast, northwest. I mean. Sorry. There are walls here that are preventing some of your vision.
Can I see the ochre jelly?
Yeah, it's to your left.
Can't see it yet, because it's definitely on the board. You'll see it when you see it.
Alright, that's really all the farther I can go.
Is it clear to you now where it is?
Yeah. The weird light thing, because of, I guess, the hill made there, I couldn't even see that there was a cliff to climb over here.
Yeah, it's weird.
Right here, it was just a solid piece of black running across. I was like, I don't understand where they could have gone. There's I thought it was a wall.
It's a little imperfect, yeah.
It's actually an archway. You didn't have to climb.
Weird, the way it was...
Yeah, I was confused too. It must be just the map.
Yeah, so that's, I guess, all the farther I can really go.
Okay.
That was just 30 though, folks. Still action left.
Yeah, but I don't think I can replace and pull a weapon.
Yeah, you can't. You could drop your swords and draw and quick draw your bow and fire, but you couldn't then retrieve them.
Yeah,
you could rudely put a sword, like slap it up against my chest and say, "Here, hold this."
Nah, I'll just. I probably missed the thing. It's also gonna be like 5 damage, so I'm not sure it's worth it.
Some good options include you could take a dodge action. Just
dodge in case it comes at me.
Yeah, some actions that definitely go underutilized. Obviously, the ready is one that you guys have used before, but disengage and dodge are 2 big ones. You've seen disengage, but dodge means that for your action you choose to give any characters disadvantage on their next attack. Basically, you just stand in a position where you're ready to avoid incoming damage.
Oh, and it just takes up your attack action for that.
Yeah, yeah. If you don't have a good opportunity to attack, you could just do dodge.
Yeah, then I'll go ahead and dodge. And do I know now that I can see it and that it's an okra jelly? Do I know anything about how to fight them if they have a weakness?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the best role is for this.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird because
it's vague.
I think it'd be either nature, history, or survival.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'd prefer it to be survival.
Like, if you're depending on your training, it'd be history. If you're depending on your general knowledge of, monsters of this type, it'd be survival. And if you're depending on your general knowledge of, nature and creatures, it'd be nature, You know,
I like survival because survival is so deeply underutilized as is. So let's go with that. Yes, in your experience, you've encountered some, not maybe an ochre jelly, but other jellies, other ooze creatures, and you recognize some basics around, or at least you're trying to remember the specifics that might apply here. So go ahead and roll a survival check for me. Very good. Yeah. So one thing screams in your mind from both experience and training, and that is, don't cut the jelly.
That's gonna be bad for me.
Jellies, ochre jellies, and other variant oozes are particularly adaptable to when being slashed.
Okay, I will.
Kind of the Warhammer.
I will yell that to everybody to be like, "Don't cut it."
Can I stab it?
Dario.
After casting tells me that, I do want to make another survival check to figure out if I can shoot it safely, I guess.
Yeah, I was very vague on purpose. You are aware. You have not experienced an ooze or heard of an ooze that is adapted to ranged weapon. In fact, many hunters who go into caves carry a backup ranged weapon to help deal with them.
Okay. Knowing this, I just start firing and don't tell anybody. Probably a miss.
Nope. That's it.
No. Okay. Large. Okay.
Larger the creature, sometimes the lower the AC.
And I think sneak attack since Tramble's there.
He's good.
And I say, well, yeah, fall back and just keep firing.
So you unleash this crossbow bolt, and it flies across the room, and it just goes boom, and sinks into the jelly, and just sort of like as if it's gone into ballistic gel, just sort of moves a few feet in and then stops and just starts drifting around inside of its entity.
I hope that did something. I'll fall back after a fire.
Yeah, again, you see like pieces of it splatter against the wall behind you, giving you an indication that you have injured it.
Why do I have lightning on me?
It's supposed to be like a shield, like a good one.
Nope, gotcha, that makes sense.
That's a better one.
Also with lightning.
Also got lightning. Speaking of lightning, okay, so charging forward, 2, 6, right off, runs up into the hallway, turns left, and sort of like looks startled at it, and then just sort of shakes it off, and raises his staff, and then pounds on the ground, and then puts his hand out as if he's gripping something out of the air, and just starts turning. And as he does, you see stone beginning to shift on the roof above it, and roots and like stone coming down, and just starts like gripping it, like with like vines that were like there before kind of come alive a little bit and reach out and start to grab its various tendrils and sort of like tighten against them. So I have to make a strength saving throw real quick. Oh, I failed it hard. Okay. So right off does that and then shouts out, "Stand back! I've got him held."
Awesome.
Darren done my whole movement, but he moves up and uses any of his free movement to pull an arrow out of his sheath and knock it in his longbow and draws it, readying to line up that shot. Unfortunately, it's my movement, so trample.
Alright.
You are adjacent to it.
Yes, I'm going to disengage.
Okay. So you're free to move 6, but that's going to be your turn.
And move back, and as I'm passing, I'm going to say to Cassian, might want to get out that crossbow. And that's my turn?
It's really funny when I outwit myself. Let's do my job now. Okay, I have a speed of 0. I guess I can retry my... Nope. Nope. Alright, so, Ochre Jelly, squirms a little bit. And then it's Eric's turn. I can't do anything.
Huh. Glad we took right off.
I am too.
Did you say that is it double movement to come up over this, or is this just
nope.
a
it's just a passage, so you can move through it normally. No difficult terrain whatsoever.
Oh, I finally get to see it.
So, did he entangle it?
He used Earthbind and called upon
nice.
the cave's roof to pull it together. It's a 2nd level druid spell.
All right, I'm gonna use this since I use it far too little. We're going to why am I blanking on the name of it? Bless.
Man.
Now, I'm wondering if maybe I should do it so everyone can see each other's light.
It would be nice if that was additive somehow, like the part of the light that would help us we could see, but it wouldn't give us vision beyond what we should.
What I can do is I can set it so you all can see light. So you all can see each other's tokens at all times, even when you're out of view. I think that's what it will do.
Oh yeah, I think that's working right.
So even if they're not in the view, you always know where everybody is, so it's not so completely.
Right.
Just, I like when you're miniatures on a board, you kind of have an idea of everything that's happening. You're not just in a different room. It's sort of bad. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I pull out my little tincture of holy water, make some hand gestures, and mumble a prayer under my breath, and cast Bless on, let's see, Cassian, Alucard, and Tramble.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm sorry. Frank, you never really attack, right? You're almost always casting.
Nah, it's probably
as well.
wasted on me.
We'll cast it on Dario then.
He makes range attack rolls. His Eldritch
Spell
Blast.
attacks. Yeah,
But
there's the spell attack.
Yeah, is that...
He has to
let's
ro-
count for that?
It
I'm
counts for that.
reading-
Yeah, I think it would.
Okay. Whenever a target makes an attack roll. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I'd call it. You can call it.
Okay, then yeah. Yeah, Alucard.
Okay.
And that would be my turn.
It burns!
Like,
Speaking
okay.
about art, you feel just this like warming sensation of just like cool divine energy.
How much do you
Just,
hate it?
just a benevolent warmth.
It's both warm and cool. He smeared me with icy hot.
Yeah. Yeah. It's arcane icy hot.
I'm going to Eldrick blast the guy again.
But I really fucked this up on myself.
Plus,
I mean, I use a second level spell.
Plus gives me plus...
1d4 to hit.
Oh, 7 hits it, right? Because it's completely immobilized.
I don't know.
No.
Nope. Okay, then I will roll that.
9 definitely does. Congratulations.
It's a hit.
Woof. Is all that dirt in the way?
Yeah, there's like a bunch of rocks pinning it to the ceiling, which and some of your spells sort of crashes into that, but it still does what 5?
Yeah.
All right. Cassian.
I'll swing my silver sword back into my sheath and then draw my hand bow. So if one of those has to be my move action, it can be. And then I'll fire a hand bow at
Sounds good.
the okra jelly. And I'm assuming that hits.
Big time hit. You guys are just filling this thing with arrows. Okay, 8
I have a
damage.
feeling I'm not getting that arrow back.
I mean, you could. Do you want it?
Arrows are expensive.
Yeah, let's just rock and roll here. You guys are just gonna fill this thing like a fucking pincushion. This thing lasts for like a minute. I fucked myself.
Could
Dario.
just fast forward. I was just gonna play out like,
We could just assume we kill it.
yeah. I move back up and I fire.
You're almost there. Just lump bolts in this thing.
No sneak attack this time. So
Yeah, at this point you've shaved off almost like a complete third of its body. It's just sort of squirming and it's like dripping to the ground now, as if its body is losing its consistency. And it's frantically trying to shake free of these binds, but it's been just sort of like completely encapsulated into the roots in the ceiling, which keeps fighting back at it as it tries to break free of them. And the whole time, right off, it's just putting all its energy to keep it. It's a concentration spell, so he's keeping it sort of there. and so that's going to be his turn. He's just going to focus on that. Maybe a more spry individual could do something, but he is really got to keep his full focus on the spell. And
The cave is also made of like chalky material, and it's dehydrating the jelly.
And so big time. Yeah, so Darren draws back and raises up, and then sort of like waits for the jelly to sort of move to try and get free again, and he lets go, and the arrow just sinks right into it, and then as if someone just sort of turned a bucket over, the entire thing becomes a complete liquid and just splashes to the ground all over the floor of that side of the cave, and in an instant, it's dead.
Not so scared.
I wouldn't want to have been in that splash.
Yeah, one of you could have been in that. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Did it drop any solid objects of interest?
There was definitely some bones in there. That's classic. That's classic jelly ooze lore. Some poor creature, possibly the owner of the items that you previously saw on the ground. And yeah, it looks like this individual has been long since dissolved in the unfortunately dissolved inside this ooze. But yeah, I think that is that's it. There's nothing particularly notable besides just the detritus left behind by this creature consuming poor animals and individuals that walk too close.
How did this guy even get down here? Do you guys think that this is like not an important part of the mine that was just recently opened up, or?
Well, are those collapsed tunnels down there? Could have been
recent. Mm-hmm. They don't look like they're that ancient of collapses.
Somebody found another way in. Are we going to move up and investigate the body inside of that thing, or are we just going to leave it be?
Let us do that.
It's just bones now, right?
Yeah, just bones and this glowing sort of torch stick.
Nothing recognizable.
Yeah, Elkar, you find a couple of dungeoneering tools, namely like a hammer chisel, a magnifying glass that's surprisingly a little dusty but not broken, a couple of those sheets bound up in a tube that you would sort of use to like with a piece of chalk to gain like a rubbing, and also this arcane torch, which is a rod that has been enchanted with the light spell.
Neat. Anybody have a particular need for any of these items?
Nope.
Yep, so this is an infinite cast of light, the spell light, which is a 20-foot radius. Basically a magic torch. I'll create a custom icon. Future. Alright, where's your nail?
Should I just add a dungeoneering kit to my gear?
Yeah. Yep, just add a dungeoneering kit. Whatever that entails. Nate, your exploration has continued to see very similar shaped hallways going up ahead, with without finding anything odd in the current range that you are able to see.
Okay, I'm gonna try to bring him back around the other way. It looks like it might connect. So. Basically just did a big loop. And unless I ran into anything, he comes back.
So if I like move Tramble over here, do you guys still see him?
No.
I see me.
Not unless we have line of sight.
Yeah. But you can still see the light he puts up. Interesting.
I kind of like it that way, honestly.
I just want to make as realism is good, but I also want to make. Okay, so where's the plan? What do you guys want to head?
Well, it looks like it's relatively quiet and safe to the northwest, as far as I can tell.
What about the other direction, the northeast?
I don't know, I didn't scout it as far. I can. How far can it go, actually? Like twice, pretty far, actually. So, yeah, I'll send Umbra back out to the northeast this time.
I really enjoy this.
True. I kind of like the fact that they can't see what I see, because I have to explain to them what I see, which isn't perfect.
Okay. Well, like I said, the ooze, you guys were all fighting it. I finally were like, oh, there it is.
Oh, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, I don't see anything. I mean,
yeah, nothing is inherently noticed upon your pivoting through these little tunnels. Just some collapsed dead ends, some twists and turns, but otherwise, some very sturdy carved walls heading in many directions.
yeah, I mean, as far as I can see, guys, it's safe for at least a good 50 feet in any direction.
Alright, question. So Nate sees what it sees. He has a bat. It uses echolocation. It's not actually seeing anything.
Yeah.
Don't take me down that path.
Sorry.
Bats have eyes and echolocation both, but the eyes are really bad. In D&D, they give them 30 feet of blind sight, but it works.
You should
in
make him
Vagrant.
describe everything like your grandma's describing it to you, and it's very complicated and technological.
I see an object.
There's like a guy, and his head was like a melon.
Yeah, I don't see anything. Long story short, I think we should move.
Alright. Soldier on. FYI, it's 11 for some of you East Coasters, so you just go ahead and give me whatever is your preferred time, since we are a weekday.
I think midnight for me.
That sounds fair.
That's okay with me, because I would go till 1 if need be, but yeah, like,
I'm off work tomorrow.
if anybody's got to quit earlier than that, that's fine.
So, say if we head east, it looks like it connects to the southeastern tunnel, so we can, I guess, clear all that area and fall back to the southwest if something goes wrong, rather than trying to get too far north and then not be able to escape.
I like that plan.
Alright, I'm gonna move forward
Likewise.
and keep my eyes peeled.
I've still got jelly squishing under my feet. Maybe you guys notice, maybe you don't.
I think there's a stairwell to the north of some sort.
Yeah, there definitely is. I can see it.
So, if we do a bad stealth roll, do we know we're doing bad stealth, or are we oblivious
Yeah,
to that?
typically you might have trouble with the terrain, kicking rocks that tumble down the hallway, or yeah, if it's a particularly bad one like a 4, you're probably doing something that's audible. If it's just like a 13 and I roll like a 18 perception, then it's more like you might probably feel like you're doing fine, but I get the drop on you.
Yeah, those middle rolls are what are dangerous to you because it's a comparative roll. So if you do bad, you know that somebody heard you. But if you did okay, they might not have heard you, they might.
Or maybe if your stealth roll falls beneath your passive perception, you become aware of the fact that you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Unless it's a nat 1, in which case you just total fuck up. So I'm gonna hang back, realizing I'm not doing it right.
Yeah, I mean, if we're hanging back, because I have disadvantage on all stealth rolls, do we have to roll stealth if we're kind of chilling in the back?
Yeah, if you're staying like back in the hallway you're currently in, then yeah, you don't really require to do it. Not really required for you to do anything.
Yeah, not unless you're actively trying to hide for some reason.
So yeah, Dario and Treble, you guys have scooted pretty far to the east, and so far you have not picked up on any other direct threats in your immediate area. Dario, you see that door up ahead? And as you pause for a minute and listen, you hear a consistent noise, like a gnawing or gnashing, and then you hear sort of like a kind of a guttural like. Urgh.
Okay, I'm gonna grab Tramble by his shoulder and make a motion like, and try to hope that he understands what that means.
But it is not. It's not in the way where it means like in alerting. It reminds you if you've been sneaking up on sort of like something feeding. You know, it's definitely making a noise and not caring that it's making noise.
Okay.
But it's a constant, unbroken noise.
So.
But it's faint because of the food, because it's coming through a closed door.
Tramble got you. Do I need another stealth check to move you in closer, or just stay with the original?
No. For a reason I can't explain, you are good to move up.
All right. Well, I don't want to walk right up to the door. I actually just want to check the southern passage. So, unless Tramble has an interest in the door and moving away from it.
So if you boys want to catch up to this corner, you may do so without a roll.
Yeah, I'm going to hang here and go inform everyone that they should come up and lead them to over here, and then point at the door and make the scary motion Nate made earlier.
Yeah, so it's not boring. We'll assume that once your stealthy character is secure up to a point, you can at least come a little bit closer. So you're not just sitting in a different room. Yeah, so you guys all climb up here, and he indicates the door.
Our stealthy characters are equipped with brooms. They move all the noisy stuff out of the way for us.
Yeah.
I don't see anything immediately, so it's up to you guys if you want to check the door or keep headed south. I feel like working in the perimeter is probably the best idea, personally.
Yeah, let's do south. That door is closed right now.
Okay, I head back south. And I'm coming up to the room with the skeletons.
Yeah, so you see around this, and it looks different because you saw it through your bat's yells. But you enter this area where it's scattered of armor and skeletons in the cavern floor. But before you get there, Alcar, you two boys want to give me one more stealth check, just for sort of creeping up on this new zone here. Jesus. Okay.
Oh, so on a day thing, Joey?
Oh, that's not what I meant to use. There we go. Same bonus.
Much different. Tramble, we'll do it this way. Tramble, you get right to this corner, and you kind of come to a stop because while you're sneaking forward. Oh yeah, he makes a good point. Guidance is required shouting out loud.
Good point. And I don't. Well, do I? Would I?
It's up to you.
Would I have had good reason to believe I need the guidance on my way into this room for being careful? Like, am I scared?
It is full of corpses.
Yeah, I was worried about this room earlier. So okay, I will have guidance and used a sorcery point to do it silently.
There we go. Yeah, I would say that normally if you did use guidance, I'd make you roll advantage on stealth, but keep the guidance number. You know what I mean?
Oh, that makes sense.
Just because you can't go secret. You can't stop and go. Do a good job.
Not without a sorcery point.
But Nate, you come into this room expertly, of course. I mean, somehow you are like walking over these cuirasses of fallen dwarves, and each time you step on one, it should be making noise. I mean, they're bones, they're brittle bones, but each time you step down, like you're fucking like your what's his name from Lord of the Rings? You were just like walking on this
Oh,
stuff.
Legolas.
Yeah, Legolas, and so you can make it as far into this room as you wish.
Okay. I will slowly creep forward while trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
This looks like an old entrance. Like possibly this might have been where the normal entrance would have been. Like where people would have originally arrived, because it's got a lot of the carvings are very distinct in here, and it also indicates a lot of the sort of ritualistic information, suggesting that there's something of value up ahead, indicating like that's where this room would sort of guide you, was to the north. And then you're gonna roll perception check. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Nate, you sort of creep into this room and you're looking around, and there are a surprising amount of creatures here that or dwarves that have sort of been all perished in this same spot, in like almost like a kind of a corpse pile across this room. And you stop for a moment, still standing on like two dead bodies as for balance, and you kind of search around the room, and then something clicks in the back of your head and goes, yeah, I've been in this situation before. And you crane your head up, and you see a sturge. Is
Large bird. Ooh.
I think it's a fish.
You see a sturge. It's like your bat would be. It is has its claws bound to the ceiling on a couple of stalactites, whatever.
Tights.
Stalactites hanging from the ceiling, and you see one because it kind of flutters a little bit in response to Tramble's movement. And as it does, it causes a few other to flutter, and then they all do for a second as they start to stir a little, and you realize that there are 12 sturges above you in this room.
What the hell is a sturge? Do I know what these things are, other than ugly?
They are natural. It's a nature check, but they are.
Oh, shoot. Never mind. There.
Yeah, they are. They are cave-dwelling scavenger beasts that prey upon either corpses or the occasional vulnerable traveler.
So are they? When does this room open up into this large roof like this?
Right where you are is where it starts to slowly, like, kind of get taller and then rises up into these stalactites.
Okay.
Alright, because I don't want to make noise, and I know Tramble is not in the middle of bodies that make a lot of noise, I will gesture
Not
to
yet.
him to move back and get the others silently without saying anything. And stay where I'm at. And try to line up a crossbow shot.
How many did you say?
So like a dozen or something?
He said a dozen. Yeah, there was a lot of them. Enough to be afraid.
Okay.
Now, if we're gonna go north, could we go down this other hallway and avoid them entirely?
Well, if I can get back.
Or are we looking to go keep going south?
There's a door I can see from where I'm at, but you can't see it, and I can't tell you it's there.
Okay. So yeah, we need to. Gentlemen, do we move forward, or do we hope Dario can get out? I mean, I guess we could light up some shots here.
We should
And
ready
surprise round them.
Your check was pretty good, Nate. You also know sturges are individually not a tremendous threat, but they are herd creatures. They flock.
Yeah.
It makes them dangerous.
And I see.
I feel like
9.
Oh damn, 9. I feel like we should ready to kill them all, and if he can leave without like upsetting them, maybe we should, because a fight might draw whatever
That's
was
kinda
behind
what
that door.
I'm thinking
Well,
we shouldn't try to fight him unless we have to.
2 mobs at once would be bad.
so if you guys are hanging back, I'm going to start to be awkwardly wondering where you guys are, and
Yeah, okay, so let's all move up.
Do we come to a consensus on what we want to do?
Let's all move up and be prepared to fire, and I will motion for Dario to come to us.
And I'm going to use my awakened mind to speak our plan to Dario.
Okay, cool.
Quiet, fall back.
And you can't hear if I talk back to you, right, Bakar?
I think I can.
So if you can, I would tell you there's a door to the south that we can't get to from any other direction. It's at the end of a hallway, out of this room to the south.
It says I can communicate telepathically with a creature I can see, so I'd have to move forward to see you. And
But I already rolled
I get
stealth, so I'm
messages
gonna
from you.
commit to moving since I've made the roll. So then I'm trying to extricate myself.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you slowly start backing up, following the same sort of, replacing each step that you just made moments ago. And despite the fact that it seems like one of them sort of makes a kind of a weird kind of squawking sound, none of them stir, none of them move.
Okay.
And you reach your corner, and there's no movement from these guys. They were napping. Maybe they fed recently.
Alright, well then we should move further away from them for us to talk, but I would tell them what I try to tell Alcar telepathically, which is that there's a doorway out of that room to the south, and there's no other way to get to it. So I don't know if you guys want to fight your way through or not.
I think we got to decide which fight we want to do, the one behind the door or the one in that room, because we're going to have to clear one or the other.
Or I can just start scouting further east.
Will Sturges detect your bat? Do they have the same abilities as your bat? Echolocation?
I have no idea. I don't know if I know Sturges that well.
Would Alcar know what echolocation is?
I think your greater threat is just kind of going near them, so heading down this east hallway would certainly threaten their presence again. Cross that open, because you might give them a whiff. Alright, yeah, Nate, you continue to explore to the east, moving up the northern passage. Seems to wrap around this room. As you pass the room, even though just because you know to listen for it, you can hear to your left, that room that you sort of near earlier, you can still hear sort of just like very quiet ambient gnashing in there, chewing. And on your right is what used to be looks like a storeroom. Part of it has collapsed, and so it doesn't look like it's too useful. And it looks like there may have been some kegs in here, but they seem to have be pretty smashed open or otherwise dusty and cobwebbed.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna relate that there isn't anything visible for the next few hundred, or I guess a few dozen feet.
The only thing that I would have noted is that up to the north of that passage, past the storeroom, there was a significant amount of light.
Okay. Not sure if Umbra would have seen, but yeah, I mean, there is a door right here. It looks like it's probably the same room to the door in the north, so it might be better to move up to the northern door. It's further away from
Bats
the
are
stairs.
light sensitive. They'd be able to detect that kind of difference. I think it's just fine detail that they have trouble with.
Cool. We'll learn a lot about bats in this game. So yeah, if you guys want to check the room to the north, I think the north entrance is probably safer because it's further away from the Sturges. But looks like there's a door right here for you guys that can't see it.
So we gotta pick a fight. It's either Sturges or the north one. Which do we think will be quieter? Do we think the Sturges would come to the sound of a big fight?
Well, the doors are both closed too, so it sounded like there was a beast inside of that room. Presumably, it may not be able to open the door, so we could take on the Sturges without the beast, but I'm not sure about the other way around.
I think maybe we ambush the Sturges, because the doors are closed, it'd be harder for the thing inside to hear us. But if we open the door and fight that, then the Sturges will easier hear that, you know? What's the party think?
Yeah, I say we go and torch and fight the Sturges and then head south. I think if we get ready around against them and get a surprise round, we all jump them and hit them with ranged attacks, and then we take them out from there.
Seems reasonable.
So I'll tell you guys that they're mostly along the center part of the room. You'll probably be able to see them, but I'm not sure. But I guess I'll sneak forward again.
So I'm going to approach from the north. If anyone wants to come with me, that way we don't bottleneck ourselves.
I didn't mean to roll that with advantage, Ben. That was double click, so...
Oh, I see. Okay. Still impressive. So is that 10?
10.
Or is that normal?
Let's send all our stealthy characters forward first and have them ready, and we'll do it one at a time, and then us less stealthy guys will follow, so if we screw up, the ones that are ready and waiting can take their attacks, and then we can catch up.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm thinking Tramble and Dario and uh-oh.
I rolled worse.
Yeah, it's no worse than Nate. And somebody should come with me or else I shouldn't go this way.
I'll follow you. My stealth is not great, but it's not 0, so I'll go next.
Yeah, so far you guys, all 3 characters that have attempted stealth have all scooted up closer. And it's like you see some slight movement, but they don't spring to life or spring into action as any of you have approached so far.
Okay. I start to aim at this one specifically.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm readying at that one directly south of me. Alcar, you should aim at the same one, that way we can be sure to kill it.
Okay.
Alright, so I have to roll stealth to come up next to Dario.
Yes.
Ignore this extra one, I'm just using it for initiative.
Nice.
Very nice. And then Eric can just come by when the fight starts.
That's kind of my thought.
I mean, give it a shot. We're all ready to attack. So if you can stealth up and be ready too, we can do a simultaneous attack on all of them.
Alright.
Yeah, if Nate tells, or if Dario tells me which one he's aiming at, I'll aim at the one next to it.
Technically, if you would attack right now, you'd get a surprise round. It means everyone would get to go before I do.
That's a good point.
Yeah, we want to do the surprise round thing.
I was gonna wait for someone to fire from the northern hallway before I fired, but I'm aiming at this one.
Yeah. Do you guys want to do the surprise round, or do you want to have Agmar?
Yeah, I'd rather go ahead and.
I'd rather do the surprise round. And
yeah,
I'll do a 3-2-1 with Alcar, and we can attack.
So Agmar's just gonna wait back there, just like ready to go.
Let Alcar do 3, 2, 1. Can he talk to all of us at once with his mind powers?
No, I can only do one, and I have to be able to see them.
Okay.
But he could, if he moved up closer, he could try and see Nate or something, but that'd be probably a bad idea.
I think I might just be able to see Cassian.
That's right. When you guys fire, we'll all just, as soon as we see one bolt or spell come flying, we'll all just fire.
Yeah, when you see horror tentacles flying, fire.
Leaves an
Alright,
impression.
let's go, Alcar.
Well, we're not. Are we still blessed, by the way?
It's 1 minute duration.
That would have passed by now.
Yeah, that's gone long.
By the way, I'm still concentrating on invisibility. It lasts an hour, so whatever.
Does a 15 hit?
Yes, it does. They're small and challenging to hit, but not that challenging.
So I did 4 damage to it with fire, and then it looks like Alcar hit it as well.
You guys fired the same one or different ones?
We were targeting the same one. We were less sure of our abilities.
It's not silver. Just using his icon. I actually did not. I did not have a Darren token. I didn't expect it to come on the trip.
Made silver tongue.
Didn't even persuade him. You've got the silver tongue anyway.
So what happens here is we'll go in initiative order, but the Sturges don't get around. This is all you guys.
Okay, I thought it was just random.
Nope, the surprise round means that one round is basically caught completely off guard and simply waits.
So I went a little out of order, but I do go before Alcar, so that we can just keep those rolls if you want.
Yeah, so we just need Dario to go, and then Tramble, then me.
Alright. Assume that
You miss.
I retire. And it's this one.
Nice.
Okay. So one of these things seems to start to like unfurl its wings, like it might sense something's there, and then just a bolt just pins it to the rock wall behind it, and just like there's a quick spray of blood, and it's in an instant it's dead. And they all start sort of squirming around and coming to life in a panic, but they don't get to move as everyone fires simultaneously. So right off, going to go. Cantrip. Yeah. Ooh. Give me a hand. There we go. Okay. Save. Fail it. Dude. Okay. Yeah, so right off swings around the corner and launches a bolt of ice out of his hand after forming like a chunk of ice and then just sort of drawing his hand out until it's like a dagger, and then he throws it and it flies across the room and it just sort of shatters against the wall because they're also moving around quickly. And he curses. Darren pops from the corner and takes a shot. Dang, not so hot for my NPCs this time around. And he too fires an arrow that just sort of hits one of the stalactites and splinters upon impact without actually hitting a creature. Trample.
Alright, so I had rolled earlier and hit on this one and did 4 damage.
It's dead.
Oh, okay, cool.
I also rolled earlier. I will hit the one next to that one. And I did way more damage, so I imagine it explodes.
Yeah, so this one goes, and then is it this one you're talking about?
Yeah, he did
Yes.
13.
Yeah, so 2 of them die instantaneously, shredded apart by tendrils and whatever.
Bolts of flame.
Bolts of flame, love it. Okay, so that's Alcar. Cassian. Yep. Just pick one.
The one right in front of me.
It's dead. you
Cassian is putting that hand crossbow through its paces.
Yeah. Agmar, despite not being involved in the deception, you have a turn, so you can come down the corner and
Yay!
get in it.
Alright, I guess I'm just going in.
Do you even have a ranged weapon, Agmar?
I have javelins.
Don't let them bite you.
Don't. That's ominous.
What is Pogues now?
So I guess I'll throw a javelin at it.
I think you should let it bite you and see what happens.
Oh god, do they have fantasy malaria?
For science.
They're clearly just some kind of vampire bat, so letting them bite you is probably going to be bad.
Vampire half-orc paladin.
Vampire. It's just like the fan fiction I wrote.
What do you
Okay.
call that? I'm gonna throw a javelin at it, and shit, that was not supposed to be at disadvantage, but
Like your NPC friends, you whip this thing up into the rooftop or into the top of the cave. But there's so many jagged rocks sticking out that it's hard to land a precise shot, and so it clangs between two of the sticking out rocks, and then just falls to the ground, having not hit its target.
Then you pull on your armor's collar.
ooh.
Dario. So this is a new round, so I'll get a chance to go now.
Alright. I reload and fire.
Knocking another arrow, you launch it up, big old time hit. So another one goes. This one sort of whips off the ceiling and comes screeching at you, and then it just again gets fired backwards across the room.
Love it.
Defeated in an instant.
Back up.
Here we go. Out.
Did you just run away?
Fell back.
Classic.
It knows you reload from cover, man.
All right, let's roll some of these. So we'll start on the left. So Cassian, 1 for 12.
Nope.
A second one tries to bite you. Sent it. Okay, 9. Not gonna do it.
No, that one does for some reason. My armor class is just above 9. Anything
Agmar.
below gives me-
22.
Would you believe it if I said no?
So this creature comes spiraling down,
You got the
and
Pro League Sturge.
you reach back for another javelin, only to see this thing has come out of the darkness faster than you anticipated, and it just sort of sinks into your flesh with its like mosquito-like beak, and it gets sort of here in like the collarbone area, and you feel like a pincer pinch you. And let's see, you're gonna take some damage off that.
Should have pulled on your armor collar.
5 piercing. Okay, yeah, 5 piercing damage comes in way, and it seems to attach itself to you. All right, Tramble, yours comes at you for an 11. It's gonna be a miss, and then Alcar, yours comes at you for a 7. Another miss. It's just Eric.
Eric's guy rolled fucking amazing.
I know. All right. So right off, sort of steps up past you, and Sturge is so small he can move right around it. He sort of squeezes past you and then gets in front of you, so it's in the air, and just swings at it with his staff, having already observed how damn weak they are. Okay, yeah. And he just, like a baseball bat, he just cracks it out of the air, and it hits the wall and splatters. A little bit of its kind of yellowish blood kind of spraying out as it hits the wall, defeated. Okay. Darren's going to. He's just going to take a shot from here. Yep, that's it too. So Cassian, yours is defeated. As an arrow, as he sort of like Darren sort of presses against your side to make sure that he's not going to hit you, and then he like draws the arrow as the Sturge winds up for another attack, and he puts one right through it, and just like Nate saw, it's pinned like a pincushion and it's thrown across the room. Tramble.
And I will draw my rapier and try and stab the Sturge attacking Alcar. Oh no!
It won't try to suck his blood out if he doesn't have any blood in him.
Yeah, this thing, you lunge forward and it sort of flies straight up and then comes straight down and tries to get you again in the heat of the moment as you kind of leave an opening for it, and it's gonna get you for only 2. Okay, like your pal there, it does sort of sink into your flesh and stick there. Sort of attached to you, attached to your arm, where there's an opening in your armor. Alcar, your friend's being assaulted.
I will... Is there a negative to using ranged this close?
Yes. You roll with disadvantage because you're in melee.
That's correct.
Well, I don't know, now that it's attached to me, like, are we technically grappling? Can it even attack Alcar if it's stuck in my flesh?
Actually I can't. Yeah, I can't attack you. No.
So I was thinking I would use Eldritch if there's no negative. If there is, then I will pull a different weapon. So DM rolling there.
Yeah, I can't attack you. No attack of opportunities coming out of this Sturge while he's busy. It's a miss.
Oh man.
So despite the Tramble sort of thrashing around, giving off his trademark scream as he's trying to get this thing off of his chest, off of his arm, so you're not able to sort of land that shot as he kind of jukes backward, accidentally throwing off your aim. Cassian.
We'll say I erred on the side of caution.
Yeah, you were trying to not hit your friend.
I will move Hex to it though, and
Okay.
target, I guess, strength since they're grappled.
I'll attack the one still on top of me. Ooh, guessing I missed that.
Yeah, these things are moving around like giant insects. They keep pivoting and zipping left and right in the air.
Another
making them
question.
challenging to hit. Yeah.
When I take an attack action, I can take another one. Is that only for melee though, right? Like I can't fire my hand crossbow?
Hand crossbows are light, so you could technically fire them as an offhand weapon. I think.
You tell me, you're the boss.
I can't see him from here, so he could do that, but it would be at disadvantage if he's in melee.
It's not attacking me, it's just next to me.
Alright, is it the one that's stuck in Agmar?
No, I'm trying to hit this one that's fighting me.
I can't see you. So yeah, it's threatening you, so if it's threatening you, you'd roll disadvantage to attack something with your hand crossbow.
Okay. Am I allowed to roll to attack it, Benjamin?
Yeah, I believe this counts under 2-weapon fighting. I think you can do.
Okay.
Because it's considered light, you add your dex to the damage if you do hit.
I rolled 2, so...
There you go. No disadvantage.
So that would be without your dex, so it would be a straight 5, which is enough. So you just sort of like pull your crossbow up and just put one through it, and just end its annoying life as it's trying to get you.
It would count not that it matters for this one, but it does count for the bonus damage because 2-weapon fighting lets you count your ability modifier.
Oh, you have 2-weapon fighting?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I was
Yeah, I
treating it
took
like you
it.
don't.
I took it for the very first one. It was completely worthless, but finally it paid off when I could actually use 2 weapons.
Agmar.
So the thing is attached to me. What can I do about that?
So you can damage it to kill it, or you can use an action to remove it.
Can I have a dagger like on my belt. Can I drop my hammer, kind of free action, draw dagger, and try to cut it off?
Sure. Yeah.
Coagulate
really cool.
so hard.
So it's like, so you got your hammer, and you just sort of let your hammer fall, and it thuds into the sand below you, and then you just draw a dagger out of like a chest sheath, and just sort of like try to hold it in position and stab it. So go ahead and roll a melee attack with your dagger for me. See if I can wiggle free of this one.
Yes. Going against that's a hit. I really hope so.
Yeah, so here's what happens. Eric, you grab you just sort of grab it by its neck, and you just put your blade right into it and pull it out. And you do so like almost smooth, like you just kind of like draw a stab, and you just clean up, and you resheath your dagger in an instant. So that action is returned to you. That was your quick action. So you may now have a full turn.
Okay.
You dispatch it so quickly, it's only a quick action instead of a full.
Alright, I guess I scoop back up my hammer.
Mm-hmm.
And move forward.
Okay.
Alright.
I like picturing this, like Tramble's just like shouting and trying to like pull this thing off him, and you're just like, all right, hold still.
Just what?
Okay, just don't miss. Okay, just don't miss.
Oh no, that's fine.
So you can roll an attack.
Seems really risky to. Can I just try to grab for it?
Yeah, you can use your action to just remove it from him. It won't kill it, but it'll be no longer attached to him.
Is that gonna? What is that going to be?
It's just your action. No check. You just do it.
Okay. Yeah, I lunge at him and try to.
You grab it and you rip it off, and it kind of immediately gets out of your grasp into the air, but it's no longer trying to take blood away from Tramble. Dario.
Right, I will move back into the room.
And so the last one is up to the north, yeah.
I think that's actually, yeah, this is as far as I can go and still fire. I'm pretty sure I can't see it. I see the gray outline of something, but there's a rock wall.
Yeah, there's a rock wall there.
So I'll just keep moving in, but I can't actually fire.
Okay. Sturge is going to go for one last dive on Tramble. Or actually, Agmar pulled him off, so he's going to go up to Agmar. Ooh. Get him. So Agmar, this thing gets in the air, and you're still trying to get your hammer back up to deal with it, and it manages to lunge and kind of get you in the neck this time, dealing another 5 damage. And once again, latching itself to you.
Same hole or new hole?
And then...
Real convenient if it's just the same one.
And then just in the next instant, you feel its pincer almost immediately ripped out as right off just seems to catch it out of the air and then just pulls it out and then just holds up his staff and just bashes it. And it just sort of kind of flails and it goes limp and then it kind of drops to the ground, defeating it.
Gross.
You guys have dealt with the Sturges.
It looked unpleasant.
Yeah, I never got a chance to actually do it, but apparently I can drink.
If they stay attached for a full round,
and I can say this because there's no more Sturges, but they have 2 health. 2.
Too many.
Not a lot. Oh. Green stuff.
Yeah, there's something fancy ahead, fellas.
Can you guys see all the way down there?
I can from where I'm standing.
But it's about midnight, I'm pretty sure.
11:50.
Yeah, I'll describe what you see around you. To the east, the cavern continues. And to the east, you see just the Dario specifically, and Trample because of your good vision. You see dense carpets of odd fungi covering large sections of the floor in the cavern up ahead. They glow with an iridescent light, filling the room with a calming presence and phosphorescence, but otherwise give you an ominous vibe. To your south are a couple of buildings that would normally have maybe perhaps flanked this entrance. To your south, where I've left last sturge, you can tell that this was at one time to whatever this area was before it was a dwarven mine. This would have been the normal entrance that people would have used to get in and out. And you can kind of see like a guard's quarter on the left, or on the right of the hallway from our perspective, and then on the left, so you see an office on the right, and then what appears to be some sort of guard room with like iron bars that have fallen apart on the left. And then to your north is that room you've seen before, and then we'll which one? Okay, and this is how we'll end it. As you're sort of recuperating from that little encounter, you start to hear a resonance kind of echo through for a moment, just like a vibration in the air, and then the sound follows it shortly after, almost like a tidal wave. It overtakes the room and seems to cascade from hallway to hallway, echoing throughout the entirety of the mine. And it sounds like a massive horn has been blared, as if someone has triggered some sort of immense instrument. And as it echoes through the room, your ears ring from the sonic waves that cascade through. But more importantly, as they begin to fade, you feel yourself, each of you individually, fixated on an idea, as if it was suddenly not there. Your mind was empty. It was focused on the task at hand. And then in the next instant, your mind can only think of this one fresh, new fact. Something that you feel down to the very fiber of your being, despite having not perhaps thought about it before. That thought is, gods can be killed.
Well, I knew that.
Whether you thought so or not before this moment, it is now an idea that you cannot shake. This idea is just permanently affixed to the forefront of your thoughts.
I think Alcar even says that out loud.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. And we'll put a pin there. We'll learn more about the horn we just heard, and we'll adventure into the cave. I'm looking at the full map, guys. Fuck me.
Pretty big.
Yeah, you've seen about a fucking eighth of it. So far.
How realistic is it then if we were to sleep here?
If you clear yourself a little spot. Yeah, you look over, Tramble's already rolling out his bedroll on the ground over the corpses.
Just follow the corpses of the entrances. They don't keep anything away, they'll just eat the corpses.
I will say that for a rest, you'd probably want to be able to have a space that you could close up. So laying in a hallway would certainly probably attract a beast or creature. So if you entered one of these rooms, you could certainly settle in for a guarded rest.
Perhaps the guard rooms. You said there was rotted furniture. Was any of it like tables or such that we could use for barricades?
There's certainly a couple of chunks or two that would be certainly barricade material. Yeah.
Might want to stealth if you're moving down there, Trample. But
Yeah.
should save that.
Yeah, but we'll save it for next time. And we will find ourselves, hopefully, a place where we can settle in.
Do we-
and recuperate?
Do we want to explore the guard rooms real quick and hole up in there? Is that a big thing, or is that too much?
I can always make it a cliffhanger if I have to.
I mean,
Yeah, let's get to the guard rooms and hole up, and then we're good.
can we just rest outside? And that way we can...
Yeah, we're
retreat.
not that deep into this place.
True, we could just backtrack out.
It would take like 30 seconds, really.
And then we can fall back, hopefully.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Alright, we take a long rest outside.
Yep, so the group heads back down the way you came in, your rope's still present, and you sort of climb your way back up, and you leave out the way you came in, once again out into the sunlight. Even after your brief time inside, it feels like you haven't seen the sun in some time. As you exit, Darren and Right Off sort of exchange looks, and they look to you, and he goes, Did you all feel different after that noise?
I don't say anything.
Alcar says, not really, no.
Nice.
Well, let's shake it off and let's get some rest, because I feel like we have only seen a piece of what the Wave Echo Cave has awaiting for us. And with that, put a button on it. Guys,
So-
good news. Closing in on that next level. I'm pretty sure I've done the math, but I'm feeling like you got it.
That double.
Yeah. If we did, let us know so we can be prepared.
So I have to do the math, but considering how close you are right now, I think it's 5,700 for level.
I think it's an even 6,000, but I might be wrong.
Pretty confident that you're going to be. So I would start doing your...
I think level 5 is pretty boring for me, besides Sweet Sweet Double Attack.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
Double
big
attack
deal.
is amazing.
Yeah, what else do you
Well,
want? 3 attacks in a turn?
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. You're leveling up to 5. So go ahead and examine your tree and make any decisions you have to make.
And this will be my level 4 for Sorcerer, so this is kind of a big deal for me. This is a cool one.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna hop off. My eyes are hurting.
Yeah, I'm gonna head to bed too. It was good
All right,
playing, guys.
boys. Yeah, good game.
Good time.
Good night.
Night.
Night, everybody.
Not everyone.